Okay, so welcome once more, everyone. This is our official welcoming now to everyone. Thank you, and thank you very much for attending this event. My name is Dr. Mary Oguike. I am the founder of the Rural Gems, and we are a registered non-profit organization in the United Kingdom. Our vision is to have a world where disadvantaged children and young people, including adults, are given the opportunity to thrive in life. The ways in which we want to, some of the ways in which we want to achieve this vision are promoting learning. We promote education and learning among disadvantaged people, both here in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. We also foster skills acquisition among disadvantaged people. So this is including children, young people, and adults. We also mentor young people. We also organize various employability training sessions for young people as a way of eradicating child poverty. Also, we organize series of talk show events. And one of such events is this one you are on at the moment. Since 6th of September, since 6th of December, we have organized about 6 talk shows. Now, going back to our vision as an organization, I know some of you who have been on this platform a number of times would have known how this vision came about. But for those of you who are new, my vision for TRG came about while I was a little girl in Nigeria. My parents used to take us a lot to the village, although we were in the city. And as I used to play with the village children, I realized that these children were also very smart. They were children like me, but the only difference was they did not have the basic educational resources, and they did not also have learned adults around them to guide them. So I decided then that when I grow up, I would like to do something for these disadvantaged children. So in 2017, I had a nudge that it was time for me to start to fulfill that vision. So what I did was to go back to Nigeria and start setting up libraries in rural communities. And since then, we have now come a long way. And I'll just run you through some of the things we've been doing. Okay, so on the 6th of December, we had a talk show with the young people. And these young people came on this platform to tell us about their challenges during this COVID-19 period. And after that meeting, we came up with some coping strategies for them. What we're planning to do next is on the 21st of February, that's in 2 weeks' time, we will be bringing back those young people on this same platform with their families to find out how they have coped so far, if they have implemented some of these coping strategies, and also we'll be bringing in some mentors, some young mentors on the platform to speak to them. So we're just letting you know in advance. So this is us on the 17th of December last year, 2020, we set up the second library in Onne, Rivers State, and that's the opening ceremony. Prior to that time, on the 28th of May, 2018, as I had previously said, we set up the first library in Ozawa. And as you can see, that's the library with the children all seated. That's the Reverend Father, because we have to carry the stakeholders along. And that's a youth corps training some young people on how to use computer. So we do not just equip the libraries with books, we also equip them with computers. Because as you all know, or as some of you may know, in Nigeria, children don't have access to computers, not to talk of those in the rural areas. So, and if they have to learn computer, they have to travel all the way to the cities, and that will cost them money to travel and also pay for those training opportunities. But what TRG is doing is provide this IT training for these young people free of charge, because the world has gone IT. And I just want to show you some of the books. This is what we do from time to time. People donate books to me, and I put them here in my house and then gather them, ship them to Nigeria, and we will like to kindly solicit your donations to facilitate our shipping of these books to Nigeria. On the 19th of December, TRG went out into the disadvantaged communities, precisely in London here, Abbeywood and Thamesmead. We went into the communities to feed the disadvantaged people. We provided hot meals for them. That's a bowl of jollof rice with some fried plantain and boiled egg. And as you can see here, we partnered these things in these hampers are the things that were already provided by another organization that we partnered with. They are called the Father's Arm, located in Thamesmead. They had been feeding the disadvantaged people in that community for years. So we partnered with them to feed disadvantaged people on the 19th of December. And also at the bottom here, you'll see a lady called Miss Florence. She's the CEO of the World of Hope Foundation, a registered charity in the UK. She has been feeding, she runs a food bank where she feeds disadvantaged people. So we also partnered with her. We gave her about 50 bowls of jollof rice to give to some of the disadvantaged people. Now, I just want to deviate a bit. Disadvantaged people, some of you might be saying, who are these disadvantaged people? Well, anybody can fall into the disadvantaged category, especially with regards to COVID-19. Those people who never thought that they will ever go hungry in life. This with COVID-19 now, some people have found themselves in a situation of hunger where they are no longer able to feed, losses of jobs and all of that. And that is why TRG is determined to continue doing what we're doing, supporting families, supporting individuals in this during this pandemic period and even beyond. Also on the 20th of December, we had a talk show where that was on 3 M's of money. We thought that this COVID-19 has led to several job losses, businesses have been closed, and lots of financial problems. So we thought money would be a good one to talk about. So we had this session on 3 M's of money, and that also led us to another session on the 27th of December, titled Multiplying Money, where our speaker, Ms. Shewa Adeniji, gave us about 20 ideas, 20 small business ideas that we could set up. And obviously, some of us have taken those ideas and we are running with those ideas. I personally, I have started implementing some of these things in my personal life and also in TRG. So it was during this session that food importation came top on the list, okay? And then we went ahead to organize a talk session on importation, which was held on the 17th of January, the first importation session. And subsequently, people wanted to know more about it. They asked series of questions, and we thought it would be nice to bring in experts to discuss certain areas of importation. And that is why we have invited you today to come and listen. So without speaking further, I would like to invite our first speaker, Ms. Ola Mustafa, who will be talking to us about importation. Over to you, Ms. Ola. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming. I'm not going to do the unusual, but I'm still going to repeat what, I'm going to recap on what we did the last time. There isn't any much to importing, which is what I said before. I'm also going to ask Mary to share that screen after my recap on importing, in case anybody wants anything, or they need, because I invited few people and they're new and I can see them there. They're new people, so they're on board and they want to know about importing, which I already shared with them, but I think they might also get more gist by doing the recap that we did the last time as well. So, I'm not going to do it the same way so that it won't look, it won't be too boring. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you about me, because Mary did refer to me as an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just a very creative and innovative person when it comes to anything that I'm interested in. So I am not the importer. My son, the only child I have, is the importer, and that's when I learned the field. So I can tell you about the raw bit of it, and I can tell you the the bits that we need to know. So about me, Olatu, I am Olatu Kumbo Mustafa. Oh my gosh, my top looks like it's not iron, it is, but it kind of looks funny on the thing because of the style, the way it is. It's one of those things that even you don't actually need to iron them. So, but don't worry about it, because I can only see it on this thing now. But don't worry about it. I'm home and we're locked down, so it's a good excuse. But it's not a good one to wear on such for this occasion, but it's okay. But having said that, my background is event and marketing, and I simply refer to it as project management. So that has given me the opportunity to delve into a lot of professions and organizations as well, which includes aviation, importing, food, agro, insurance, local authority, NHS, government department in the UK. I actually work in partnership with them by getting a proposal out to them, and then getting, working in partnership with them and working not for them. I've worked for them many years back, but not as a business person. I've always tendered proposals to them. When I see ideas, I make the best out of it. So if you're a business person, you should have that concept, incorporate that concept in your doing or whatever you do. So how did I get into importing? Importing was through my only child, who went to Buckingham University and then came out and decided that is what he wants to do. That's not what I was doing. I actually thought he was going to go into events and marketing. So he then decided I was going to be an importer. So I had to do the research. So I do the marketing, I do the selling, and I do the buying. So that's what makes me an importer, if that is easier. So, but I'm a very inquisitive person. When I want to know something, I seriously want to know. My very good friend and my ex-best friend used to refer to me as, if there was Boko Haram in this UK, I would dig them out. That is how nosy I can be if I want to know. Does that make sense? So in wanting to know about food, I literally mingle with the big boys and the big girls in the industry. I didn't play with them. I saw another opportunity where I can actually work with them, for them. So I've delivered marketing events for them, from Abbey Global to Ades, just a lot of things with them as well, as much as we were doing importing. My son was doing importing. So without further ado, I'm not going to make it about me today. So I just needed to tell you what I have done and what led me into that importing. So I won't be an expert as described, but I do know that I know my onions when I'm doing things. Does that make sense? So in case you start blowing some grammars and I couldn't break it down, I will have to Google. Do you understand? So that's why I need to tell you that. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to tell you that you don't need much to be an importer. There is nothing to it. It's like going to shop and buying my best food, chocolate. That's what it is. But what is importing? Importing is actually when you go abroad and buy stuff that you want to make profit from and sell where you live. It's as simple as that. And the opposite is the exporting. But what do you need to be an importer? In the UK, we need what you call an EORI. And what's an EORI? Is an economic operator identity number. So how do you apply for that? Believe you me, just Google it. You go to the government department, direct government, any HMRC, I think, yeah, they do it. That's right. So for you to actually apply for that, they would ask few questions such as your NI number and your name, your address, and where. I think sometimes they want to find out about where you would deliver your goods to. So again, I will go back to how I said it the last time. Walk backward before you start. That's the truth. Walking backward means do a bit of research, desk research, such as this. What are the requirements, what they need, and all those things, So when I say walk backward, you can do a desk research on perhaps your potentials, customers. Even go on the street to find out what they want. It will give you an idea. If you ask me, what should I bring? Which is the question I've been asked, many of you wanted to know. They were saying, what can we bring? It's almost like, what can't you bring? You should identify what you want and what you can't get or what your clients want. But I can tell you popular things that people do bring in to sell, but that doesn't mean that you find your own niche through that. Does that make sense? So you need to do a bit of research. In the process of you researching, you'll be amazed what you find out. When I say research, the physical research, go to shops. Go to any shops that sells anything to do with our food and find out whether they want Indomie, they want Bonvita, not Bonvita, Milo, Peak Milk, the chewing sticks, yes, Close Up, soap, sponge, this Nigerian sponge, the spongy, that one that really burns your body. When you the scrub one, they buy it. It's actually amazing what people can make out of it. Brooms sell a lot as well. You'll be amazed the things that you can actually bring. So I cannot tell you that, but that is actually a very good one to do, because sometimes I think where you also live or where you actually will have your market determines what people actually buy. I can actually tell you today that the difference in what we sell in Peckham or Dartford or those popular areas, Deptford, that's it, Deptford, and what we sell in Hatfield, our area, Edgware, and other things sometimes varies. They don't buy much. If you take, serious Gary to some areas in East London, you will not come back with that Gary. If you take Gary to certain areas, they will be saying, what kind of Gary is this? What is this? Okay, is this yellow Gary, purple Gary? But those who recognize it, because they've been doing, they know the stuff, they know their buyers. People come there and buy those things, so they'll buy off you. So it is important that you actually do your research and just don't wait for speaker that will be telling you this is how you should do it, or this is how it should be done, or So anyway, without let me just move further a bit. So that's how I'll be doing it. So that's one of the topic we dealt with yesterday, last time. Okay, so there's such thing called, I made reference to VAT. VAT will not be applicable to you. If you want to know anything about VAT, please go online and Google it. It's just HMRM, the www.government, gov.uk, I think, yeah. That's, I mean, just put VAT, something will come up and give you an idea roughly how much you need to spend before paying VAT. And really, by the time you start doing 3-4 containers, you probably will be paying VAT, and that's the truth. But anyway, the next one is commodity code. What is a commodity code? Commodity code is a code that is used usually by the Port Health. They are online, I think, on Port Health. So they use it to grade the commodities. No, grade is part of it, but it's also to identify is the word I'm looking for, actually, to identify the commodity. So for example, the commodity code for Indomie will be different from commodity code for Milo. So that's what they use to sort of like levy some charges and then, weigh things. I mean, the commodity code for alcohol will be different from one of the items I mentioned earlier on. So the commodity code for alcohol within alcohol is also totally different. The commodity code on origin beer is totally different from the commodity code on Shinap. One of those, like our own Bacardi, one of my favorite, our own Bacardi in the UK, the clear drink. Right, so that's what commodity is. So then the next one is one of the topics that we dealt with last time: duty on duty on import duties on the items that we bring in. So import duties are applicable to most of those things, to be honest with you. You like to check if you want to know much about it online as well. We have the Port Health and we have the DEFRA and we have the HMRC for all this information. So we don't tell them, we can't tell you the tariff you'll be paying on the duty they'll be levying on your import, but it's also very good to actually know these things because they're there. I kid you not. I didn't show interest because it wasn't my thing. It was my son's thing. But because of his understanding of these duties and the numbers and the names and the codes, he was able to save a lot of money. He would tell the importer, uncle, please, what about the FOB, LCL, and the CIF? And I'll be thinking, they know what they do. Said, Mom, no, I know how much they charge. Online, I know how much they charge and how much they should be charging. So he was doing all that. I used to be so irritated, but he was actually getting, it was sort of like saving himself a lot of money by letting the shipper know that I know how much this is. This is. So sometimes they won't even pick up his calls. I have to get involved and start saying, my brother, please, I beg you. My son is still a son, like a child. He knows money past me, but more than I do. But anyway, so we'll do things like that. So it's also very important for you to do that. So that's basically what it is, really, in the few topics that we touched on the other day. So with the thing that Dr. Mary will be sharing with you, you'll be able to get more. But I'm just going to touch on the raw pit so that you can understand what you're doing. To start importing, you go to Nigeria. Don't let them do it for you. The moment you let them do it for you, you not understand it. The very first one, just do it. When you have somebody like Ade Oseni that do logistics and all those things, then there'll be. But the first one, just go and see how it's done. Then you can come up with a strategy on how you want it done. We were doing things like, if I'm not there and you're loading for me, I want a photograph. I need a supervisor there. That was our strategy that we put in place. Do you understand? So if you have somebody that you trust that can be there as well, will be. But the very first one, you need to go and understand it. I always go on behalf of my son anyway. I always go, not because we don't trust the people, but we want to make sure that what we say that we're going to deliver is what we deliver all the time. Very important, quality and all those things. But anyway, so I'm going to the level of the raw, how to import. So how do you import? You go to Nigeria, and you find your farmers. Very important that you do that, because that's part of the requirement in the UK. Traceability and your EORI is what they're looking for. Those two things, that you can actually trace back what you bought. What you're bringing in are the things that you need to showcase that. So if you want Gary, for example, you will say you need to know where you bought your Gary from. You can't just go to one market that the Gary has been there for many years and with a lot of dust in it. So if you go to the original, and because you are importing, you will be buying in tons. That is very important. You save a lot of money by buying in tons, if that makes sense. So really, the tons is what you would divide. You pack them in certain. Most bags that we bring in are usually 20 kilos. And 20 kilos is arranged for a reason, so you can save money, make profit, which is why you're going to be importing. The purpose of you importing is actually to make profit, right? Yeah, I can see people nodding. Okay, so that's basically what that is. But before you do that, when you get to Nigeria, you need to have a warehouse. They're not expensive. The warehouse, you might think that is not necessary, but you save a lot of money from doing that. One or two, the reason is because you have a place where you can pack your stuff. The warehouse that you have, a very neat one where you would have a place where you can pack your stuff, where you can actually buy things when they're doing their, I think they call it bonanza or something, or bazaar, one of the two in Nigeria. So it's the sales time, So the things you would normally buy for 1,000 naira, a company can just decide to make it 2 for 1,000 naira. You'll be able to seize the opportunity and buy a lot of it in that storage. So you save a lot of money. You might not understand it, but you really do. Group buy is also very good. When you meet other people where you're packing, that's avenue of actually networking. Where you go and do your packing, when you actually load your stuff, is where you would meet other people that you can share items with. So that's what I mean. That's what I refer to as bulk buying. So when you get to that stage as well, it will give you the opportunity to see what they're actually putting in the bags that you'll be bringing in as well. So after that, you would have to have a relationship with the staff within wherever you're packing, or you'll have to get people that will be doing the packing for you. And when I'm referring to packing, because I noticed that many people that came to me after the first session are the ones that want to pack in 5 kilos, 2 kilos. When we are talking about importing, we talk about 20 kilo like bags, wholesale, we sell to wholesalers. Do you understand? So you are supposed to buy from the people like wholesalers and then retail it. So the bags are 20 kilo. It's all strategic. We have a measurement, we have the numbers. If you ask me how many Garys, don't ask me, Sha, but because I can't remember, my son is not at home, but I can give you a vague idea. How many bags? Okay, let me use Indomie, for example. On a 40-foot container of Indomie, I think you can have up to 4,100 boxes in that 40 foot, so 4,140. Sometimes some people can squeeze in more than that, and sometimes some people cannot do even up to that with the container. Apparently, it's to do with the width of the container. So those little things that there are things that add to your profit or take away from your profit, so you need to know those secrets and the core things that actually makes you but I do know that buying in bulk saves you a lot of money, seriously, by talking about tons and all those things. So it's as simple as that. Have it deals with your potential customers as well, the people you buy. So one of the key thing also is your expiring date. if you are bringing something like Indomie, they usually have, I think, expiry date of about a year. So if you're buying in Nigeria in January, make sure that you have Indomie that was manufactured maybe last month or so, or this month. So you have that grace of an extra 2 months, because when it gets here after 6 or 7 months, they don't want to buy it. People don't want to buy, so you lose money. So your date is also very essential, that you make sure that the items that you buy in the container are the dates are really the dates that will favor you, like 2 months or 3 months, a year, or the grace of another 1 year or 2 in our food as well. So I think that's about it. We can have more discussion. There's a lot of them. I've got like 7 pages here, but I think I'm going to leave you to the expert. Sister Patricia, I brought her in. If you notice, the last time I said this is strategy. Sister Patricia, well, she brought herself in. She's a networker. She will seize the opportunity once she sees it. So she's a smart woman. I have to give it to her. But she will take you to another level in the sense that if you don't just want to sell in the UK, the requirements and all the documents that you need to put your food or your items into the global world, she's got the know-how. So could you give it up to a very special lady, an expert, a very intelligent woman, a very clever and a witty Patricia, who will tell you about her and also deliver your a message to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can.
Okay, thank you, my sister. Sister Meg, can you give me access to share my slides, please?
Yes. Yeah. Over to you. Yeah.
Okay, good. You can see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, my sister Ola, for laying the foundation. You've made my job easier. Hello, everybody. My name is Patricia Obichuku. I'm the Managing Director and CEO of Best Produce International UK Limited. Obviously, I've been working in the area of export for a number of years and import, both sides. For a number of years. I'm the pioneer for Global Gap Standard and IFS Standard in Nigeria, and IFS for West Africa too. Okay, so today I've been asked to...
Sorry, can you please press the present mode? The participants want you to press the present mode. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not IT specialist. So my IT consultant is not at home.
Okay, don't worry. Don't make it. We're not making a fuss about it.
Okay, you want the full slide, yes?
No, go back. Go back.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can see transition.
Yeah.
Transition, where
or
is
slideshow, that's fine.
Yeah,
that one
slideshow. Click on
that's
that.
what I'm saying. You want
beginning.
a full slide?
Yeah, that's
is it? It's okay now?
Yes. Good. Yes.
Well done. So, as I was explaining, I've been asked to talk about international market access using Global Gap and IFS as the key standard or benchmark. The target audience for this presentation today is whether you're an importer or exporter, because I noticed some people are coming from Nigeria, so they will be the exporters. The people from UK will be importers. And then also for producers, wholesalers, and retailers. Okay, my brief profile, I've been in the food industry for over 29 years in UK. I've been dealing with import and export for the past 16 years, more than 16 years actually. And then developing agriculture for export from Nigeria since for over 13 years, and training and capacity building. And I've been working with Global Gap system for the past 9 years. Obviously, these are some of the recognition award for the work I have been doing. So I won't bore you with it. So you can find information from our website. Today, my main focus will be what I call stepwise approach to market access to international markets, especially EU markets. I know UK has just come out, but most of the UK standards are still based on EU standards. So the difference is that UK is now on its own, but the key standards are still relevant. So for those of you who are looking into export or import, you need to understand the market expectations. That is what my sister said. You need to do your initial research, called market intelligence, to understand what is the market requiring from you. You need to also appreciate the cost benefits of maintaining quality. There is no shortcut with quality issues. It is very, very critical. And it is in the area of shortcuts that we are failing in Nigeria. So acknowledge and adhere to the market rule of traceability. Ola mentioned on that. This is a mandatory requirement. And also understand the food safety management system, which is also mandatory. When it comes to global gap standard, you need to understand where that is, we are pitching the product. This small chart is showing you different areas in where the markets are in UK or Europe, okay? At the moment, some of our products are in local markets like Brixton Market, Dawson Market, some of the shops on the street. And then you have wholesalers like we have a Wani, we have different other foods, we have some of them. We have major distribution markets like you have a Spitalfield Market, and Birmingham have big markets also. Those areas, you begin to see the domineering products coming from other countries and not Nigeria. The institutions, when it comes to institutions, you're looking at NHS. I have been an NHS non-executive directors, and I was in charge of local hospital and some of the key areas within the hospital management. And I noticed that even some of our foods are not there. In short, when I was doing my importation from Nigeria, I was trying to get them to recognize Nigerian products as part of the NHS food system. But the challenge is Nigeria not meeting the required standard. Apart from the institutions, now you come to supermarkets. And the supermarkets these are where the certification requirements are. And when we go to look at the global gap, you will see why the certification requirements are important in that area. So why global gap or IFS standard? It actually starts from the farm input to processing and then transportation, which we call logistic issues, and before it comes to the retailer and to the table. The major thing for Europe and UK is to make sure that the food we eat are safe for the consumers. By the time that food gets to the table, that is safe for individuals, because we know it costs a lot of money if there is outbreak of diseases, or if there is outbreak with food poisoning. It costs a lot of money, and it will cost even supermarkets more money if there is issue with their food products. Global gap is actually a standard that was initially known as Europe gap. It's called a commercial private standard that is designed to assure consumers that the food they eat is produced according to good agricultural practices. Good agricultural practices is the meaning of GAP. That's why it's called global. When it went global, when organizations or companies like Walmart USA became part of the retailers in that, and then other countries and nations were benchmarking, that's when it stopped being Europe GAP, and then it became global because it's now a global standard. It focuses on integrated farm assurance approach, which looks at, if you remember the circle I showed you earlier, the circle looks at issues like the farm inputs, even from the farm preparation to the seedlings you put in the farm before you come to harvest and post-harvest handling. It looks at food safety. It looks at traceability issues. It looks at environmental health. Hello, can somebody mute themselves?
Sorry, please, can everyone mute themselves, please?
Okay, it looks at environmental health issues. It looks at workers' welfare, and it looks at animal welfare. There are a couple of standards that are key for crop-based and fruit and vegetable standard, livestock standard, aquaculture if you're producing fishery, and then they all need certification processes. These are some of the retailers that are the drivers for these global GAP standard. All these retailers you can see, you can recognize some of them here: Asda, Tesco, Morrison's, Lidl. All these are the people that came together. US Foods and Walmart, they came together and agreed a common standard. For example, including Sainsbury's, including all the major supermarkets. Instead of when you want to supply to one supermarket or 2 or 3 supermarkets, you go to each one of them to find their standards, which will be too cumbersome for producers. They all came together and agree a common standard. However, for companies like Tesco, they have what we call add-on. Add-on means it's a nurture program for Tesco. Even though you've agreed this common standard, which is the primary production, but you still need to meet extra requirements for Tesco, which is add-on. So these are the companies that came together. You can see ShopRite, you can see McDonald's, Marks and Spencer's, all of them are the people that are driving these standards. So if you're interested in supplying to these companies, you need to go for the standard. Without that, they will not be taking your products. For international feature standard, the global GAP, as I explained before, is for primary production. That's for fresh produce. Except for things like crops for processing, like if you want to make juices, if you want to make other products that is frozen, then there is another standard for that. For IFS, it covers both dry products and combinable products. It have different things. It covers also wholesalers, cash and carries, packaging. There are requirements, EU requirements for packaging. And it also looks at, both of them actually look at food fraud and food defense. When do we say food fraud and food defense? Is food contamination. People can contaminate your product, or they can actually counterfeit products. You know, these are the things that are looked at. So there are a lot of products that are banned. If you remember Nigerian products, for example, beans are banned for how many years now? It started by suspension, expecting Nigeria government to have a strategic development to overcome the issues. The issues is not that the chemical found is just high. The chemical found in the product on the beans is totally a banned substance in Europe. So that is the major issue why the beans are banned. It's not just the level. If it's the level, residual level that is found, that is different. But Europe have got what they call approved list of chemicals that you can use in any food manufacturing. And there are banned products. So International Feature Standard, IFS, covers dry products, ingredients, other ingredients and supplements, fruits and vegetables, grains, cereals, industrial bakeries and pastries, confectionaries and other snacks, things like jams, combinable products. The other day, I think one of your participants was talking about soup products. That's covered under what we call combinable products. It also covers personal hygiene products like healthcare products, and we look at packaging materials too. I know I have short time. I've given 15 minutes, so I will soon be rounding up. Actually, as I explained at the beginning, we are the people pioneering global gap standard in Nigeria. Why? Because when I was first invited to Nigeria by the state government to do yam export, and then was brought into federal government, we were working with the key agencies, and it was then like the SON, NAFDAC. It was then I recognized Nigeria didn't have the required standard that will help them to export freely into Europe. Other nations, smaller nations, unfortunately, we say to Nigeria, have better understanding of the standard. And when you look at nations that has gotten approval for their products, they're enjoying the market share in Europe. For example, Kenya, the 26% of French beans eaten in the whole of Europe come from Kenya. 26% in the whole of Europe. That's a lot of market margin. Nigeria has got a lot of products, but impatience is affecting and what we can do. We act as approved consultants for Global Gap, and also what we call verification body. It's senior consultants that understood the system very well. So we in Global Gap, there are two major key levels. We have what is called local standard for people who are just starting and want to develop the standard gradually. We do that local standard has got foundation and intermediate. It's like somebody going to primary school, secondary school before they go to university. Okay, so the major standard has a lot of compliance requirements and certification and audits. Within the Global Gap, you have consultants, you have auditors. The consultants cannot do the work of auditors, neither do the auditors do the work of consultants, because it's a credible certification process, and that is how they do it. Within the International Feature Standards, we are also approved and registered consultants that understand the system, and then we are also approved training center for Nigeria, UK, and West Africa, and as a whole. And as earlier stated, we are pioneering the standard. So today, I'm just trying to introduce the program to you, and we run a lot of master classes for those who are kickstarting the export, because there are a lot of work. You need to do your groundwork. You need to understand the product that you need to target. We advise people to use what we call demand pool for any development you're going to do. Understand who is your target audience. Is it just Nigerians you're focusing on? For example, if you're selling Gary, is it just Nigerians you're focusing on? Are you just focusing on, is it first generation Nigerians? Or are you focusing on all Nigerians, including those who are born here? Most of them don't eat Gary, some eat Gary. So you need to know, understand what is required when you are selecting the product you are dealing with. And you also, if you're working with combined products, you also need to understand, like a goosey, melon seed. Melon seed, you know, it's a restricted product both in UK and Europe. So you need to understand requirement, because people can easily lose money if they do not investigate what they're bringing in before they bring it. You need to know what is required. For example, you cannot bring Irish potatoes either to UK or to Europe, fresh Irish potatoes, but you can bring fresh sweet potatoes into the country, and we know why. So you need to research what sort of products, what is your target audience, and what is the packaging requirements and other issues. So we run master classes in some of that. We run full training programs and the certification process and coaching for global gap standard and IFS standards on international market access. 15 minutes is not enough to give you justice to that. So we run full global gap trainings for 3 days and full IFS standard for 3 days, but others are master classes. And you're welcome to visit our website. We deal with packaging. As you could see, we are qualified to advise you on packaging and what sort of packaging for different products, and the EU requirement for different products. And not only that, once you are working on global gas certification, your product are being marketed, because you will be on the system, you will be on their database. And this is where all the supermarkets goes to find buyers and sellers, for different products. And you will also have the opportunity to meet with them in different programs Global Gap organize. And I want to say thank you very much, and I'm ready to take some questions. Thank you for listening. Mary, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sister Patricia, for that very, very enlightening presentation. So guys, over to you. What we want to do is take questions, take questions specifically for Patricia, because Patricia will be leaving us in the next few minutes. We'll take questions specifically for Patricia. If you're asking regarding Ola's presentation, not now, there'll be about 40 minutes for discussions and questions, because we have another speaker coming on board. So if you have any questions for Patricia, please ask the questions now. You can unmute yourself to ask the question.
Thank you very much, Patricia. I've always, when I'm in the supermarket and I don't see produce from my country, I've always...
Sorry, who is speaking? Is that Dayo? Okay.
Yes, please, Dayo here.
Right.
Every time I'm in the supermarket and I don't see produce from my country, it baffles me. But thank you for this presentation. At least I have an understanding why our products are not on the shelves. But my question is this: with this understanding now, do you have any contact with policymakers in Nigeria what is your organization doing to influence policies back home such that our produce can be accepted in places like the UK?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, when I was asked to do yam export from Nasarawa State, the federal government, I'm working with the federal government at the moment. However, there is a lot of politics in Nigeria. We wanted, as my sister mentioned previously, NAFDAC number is not recognized for any processed produce in Europe or UK, okay? So we sat with the federal government, standard organizations, and to introduce a benchmarking process under Global Gap. In short, I went to Nigeria with Global Gap chief executive to introduce the standard. However, I think the major problem Nigeria has is who we anchor it. So the agencies are fighting who we anchor it, okay? So that's where they are at the moment. They're supposed to have introduced a standard, like in Kenya, you have Kenya Gap, China Gap, you have different countries who has benchmarked, but Nigeria is still fighting. 3 times, including Global Gap, UNIDO has tried to set up a technical working committee that is required to set up this standard. There are still issues which agency will anchor it. So that's where we are. Therefore, I decided to that they let them be sorting themselves out, but we work with producers to get their certification and then send their products out. So that's where we are. So we're still praying that one day we will get it right.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. My name is Isi Inyang. I had 2 questions, but I think the first questionnaire, I should say, has actually asked. I was actually going to ask whether you are speaking to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. But following on from your answer, what I want to ask is, if government is not involved, because it seems a very rigorous and detailed process, if government is not involved, do you see it as something that smaller producers, you know, as you know, if you're not producing to such a large scale, as many people are, as many people are in Nigeria, can small producers really meet up to this global gap standards? It just seems quite.
Okay, let me explain that to you. Yes, you can. You see, in Kenya, who brought the Kenya Gap was the Fruit and Vegetable Association of Kenya. They were the driving force. Global Gap is driven by private or private sector, not government. Okay, it's only about 20% of government is required. Kenya was they are called FPIC, Fruit and Vegetable Association of Kenya. They are the people who wanted to export. And we have within the Global Gap, we have what is called for large scale farmers and for smallholders certification. Smallholders certification can be up to 12,000 members. But the only thing is that they will have a legal entity that will enable them to get the certification. For large scale farmers, they can do it on their own. So yes, Nigeria have association. In short, I've been invited by the federal government because somebody asked about Export Promotion Council. I'm working with the mother or the father of Export Promotion Council, which is the Federal Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. So they are Export Promotion Council is their parasitors. So they are the key agencies that we are working with. But the issue is that they and the Agric and the Quarantine need to agree. Okay, where would the issue be? But yes, farmers can work on their own. Groups can work on their own and get a certificate and move their product to market.
Okay.
Thank you.
Olukemi has been raising her hand. Olukemi, do you want to unmute yourself and speak, please?
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your presentation. I think I have an observation as well as question. One of the biggest problems that we have here in the UK with Nigerian products is the inconsistencies in the products that come over here. How do you intend to use Global Gap to help people at home to come up with standards? We've got to create our own standards, like you said. If we have yellow gari, for example, there should be a standard that everybody knows. This is yellow gari. This is what it should look like. We are very fortunate in a way that most Nigerian products, if you try Nigerian okra, is what is the best okra I know. But if you want to bring Nigerian okra, everything is mixed together. You know, they mix a jure with ladyfinger, with God knows what. You cannot get consistency. How is Global Gap going to help those people at home to have a standard that people can relate to?
Okay. Global Gap standard start from, if you notice the circle I showed, it start from the farm, okay? And the issue of traceability. If you have 100 farmers, let's say you are exporter, you have 100 farmers you're working with, you have to have a system that you will be able to trace each product back to the farmer. Okay, so that is the system that you need to do. Secondly, people think when we talk about standard that you must have, let's say, a modern facility that must cost a lot of money. No, the standard is tailoring the standard according to your own environmental, the local area or the local facilities you have. Okay, for example, hygiene. Hygiene is hygiene. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in the village. Washing hands, doing things, cleanliness. When we do training, we use video, documentary video. When you see the women that are getting this, that are helping the exporters to get this standard in Kenya, most of them are not educated. You understand? But it's a system. It's a system certification. Okay, so it is what is required, and people can easily achieve it. But when we talk about standard, it looks like it's so unachievable. No, it is putting something in place to achieve. Like I run a service here, you know, even for, let's use my sister Mary says she's a doctor. Let's use the healthcare system here. It's a system. You can't set up a school without having a system that you must, the standard you must adhere to. I run a charity, my charity here, dealing with health, mental health, families. I have to have a system that will be able to meet the requirements of the government. You can't run anything here without policies and procedures. You can't run things here without DBS. Do you understand? So these are the things. When you go to set up export market, it is very simple. It's adhering to a system. For example, you don't go in the place you are doing the farm. I'm doing your number 2. You know what I mean, number 2, going to toilets. You know, it's setting up a common system for people. So it's a full process that we take people through, and they see that, and they go back and do their own audit. Because once you finish the training, you do your own audit, and it helps you to know, okay, this is where I am. This is what I need to do. This is how I can improve my product to send it for export.
Okay.
I think, I'm sorry, there's just one, I understand about the system. I'm not talking about the HACCPs and all of that. I'm actually talking about the way that we present our stuff. If you buy Nigerian, if you want to buy Kenyan fine beans, you see that they are neatly arranged, they look good, it's consistent. We don't have that.
Because we go to the market to buy. If you go to the market, you're buying Mr. A product, you're buying Mr. B product, that is not acceptable. You can't go to the market to buy the product that is certified. What is certified is your farm. The auditor will visit your farm, see where the product is, see the quantities you produce from that. You understand? That is how the certification process works. And that's why you have that uniformity in the product, because you do selection process. When you, let's say you planted yams or whatever, you still select, categorize, and you have your grade 1. Just like eggs here, if you go to buy eggs, you have different grades. You understand? So that's why it starts from the farm to your harvest, your post-harvest, and then to the logistics and market. Even the things you use to harvest your products are part of the standards and systems.
Thank you, Sister Patricia. Guys, we're really running behind time, but I would just allow Mr. Andrew to ask his question because he's been putting up his hand. And that will be the final question for now, because we need to move on to the last speaker and then take questions at the end. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. This has been an area I've always wanted to do. I'm into supply chain here in Scotland, Aberdeen. And lately I've been looking into this supply chain on food and looking into Nigeria. But I've looked into Nigeria. I know you've talked about the systems being in place. And if you look at like the East Africa, I know they gained from this fair trade. But I've looked, Nigeria is not a party of that fair trade. And one of the things you see with fair trade, they kind of go down deep into those hinterland where they get this food from, where they have cooperatives. You can gather people into cooperatives and they can develop systems like that. I don't know, is that part of something you are looking at, or is it different from your own body? Because there's a lot of gain if fair trade, if Nigeria becomes a part of that fair trade systems. There are funds for the farmers to use. And what that also means, the people farming this food, they get paid what they deserve, not just peanuts and the rest. So it's some of the things I've just been thinking out over the weekends.
Yeah, they don't even have a trading agreement with the UK itself. It's, you know, they don't have a trading agreement with UK or Europe. So there are a lot of things they don't have, countries they don't have trading agreement with. But individuals can still do their, fair trade is a standard, okay? You can still apply fair trading standard. What it means is that you are saying that the producers will get the fair share of the profit. And even the supermarkets that are buying those products from you, they now have what is called, legally called grasp. They have to make sure you have a corporate responsibility program on the ground. How are you supporting those producers? How are you supporting, do you have, like when people contact me, they want to sell, I look at how is their system working? Are they using child labor? You understand? You know, it's against the rules. You can't use child labor. Are the children, are you supporting the children that their workers are working for you? There are a lot of examples, and export is a big business. That no matter the challenges, it's a big business. Importing is a big business. The honest truth is that if you bring a full container, depending on the product you bring into the country, you can make triple the amount of what it costs you from anywhere. But you need to follow the system, because even if you import things, for example, people smuggle like a goosey and things like that, they can destroy your product, you still pay for it to be destroyed. Let me give you one example. I imported, several years ago, I imported container loads of goods to Tilbury. My product was seized there because it contained only 25 bags of melon seed. It cost me money to go and offload it there, remove all the melon seeds, okay? Which they will come to Enfield here where I live to destroy. I pleaded with, let me carry the container, come here. When we offload it, it's cheaper for me to go and destroy it next door to me. They refuse. I have to pay for the trailer that will carry it from Tilbury to come and destroy in Enfield. So that's why you need to make sure you have systems that is approved, that is working. So it makes life easier for you. Get it right from the beginning. Don't just go to the market and buy anything, because you may come, they test the residue level. Every country has the level for residue of chemicals, and make sure it is not banned chemical, because if it's banned chemical, your whole product will be destroyed. So that's why doing your homework right is important. But as Mary said, it's time out. Visit our website, enroll in the trainings we have, and you get more information. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Just before we invite Mr. Oseni, who is a forwarding and logistics agent from Nigeria, to speak, I would like to recognize one of our sponsors, the World Remit. So I'll just share this screen with you guys. Okay, so Mr. Ade Oseni, are you there? Over to you, Mr. Ade Oseni. Please introduce yourself, and yes, the floor is open to you.
On Friday, Lindell bought hours of airtime on One American News to make his delusional case about—
Sorry, please, can you mute yourselves?
Amazing 90-second disclaimer ahead of time, basically saying, yeah, Lindell, he's a Trump dead ender. We're not endorsing all of this stuff.
Mr. Ade Oseni, are you there?
What are the implications of these lawsuits for pro-Trump activists? What about the rest of the media? Lynn Oberlander is a First Amendment attorney and media law professor at the New School. When you see these, networks, trying to
Mr. Oseni,
disclaimers on the content,
and you need to
just because they're trying to avoid being
and it may very well be to make sure that they're not sued or some defense if they are sued. Will it work?
okay. Sorry about that, guys. Mr. Oseni, please can you take over?
You can talk now, yeah? It's fine. He's there now. Mr. Oseni is there.
Yeah, I can see him. Yeah, but he's not speaking.
He is now. He will. Mr. Oseni?
He's not muted.
He did.
He's not muted. Mr. Oseni, please can you speak? We can't hear you.
Is he talking?
No, he's not.
Maybe he didn't test his volume. Mr. Oseni, we can't hear you. Mr. Oseni. Okay, check your audio. You know.
Remove your earpiece. If you've got earpiece on, Mr. Oseni, remove your earpiece. And then you can press, if you're on your phone, press connect over internet, where it gives you the option of dialing over internet. Okay. Okay, guys, if you, while we're waiting for Mr. Oseni to get his technical issues sorted, if you have any questions for Ola, I can see somebody putting up her hand. Shola Lade, yeah. If you have any questions for Ola, we can go ahead and take the questions while Mr. Oseni sorts out his technical issues. Let's hear from Shola, please. You can unmute yourself.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's good to be in here. I'm currently in Nigeria. I'm Orola Deshola. So I'm into importing and exporting and logistics. So the other woman that get to talk, I think Madam, was it?
Obichuku.
Yes, Obichuku, yes. So I'm so wowed by a lot of stuff she said.
Hello?
Wow. Hello. So what I want to know is, I don't know if she has a platform where logistic companies like ours, where we can get to incorporate and get to do future dealings with, like the kind of the gap stuff that is not happening here in Nigeria. So I don't know if it's possible, if we can get to link up with the likes of that in Kenya, or the closer one, which is the Ghana. So we can send in our goods, then through Ghana, we can ship it abroad. I don't know if that's possible, or if we can use their own certification for ours here too, since our governments are not ready to be responsible for things that are happening here. They are not ready for the certification and all of that. So I don't know if this is possible, because the two problem I'm able to jot down here. The first speaker talked about scarcity of our goods, locally made Nigerian goods over there is scarce, and another person talked about uniformity, that they don't get it to be uniform and they are not well packaged. So in those two areas, I want to come in, like I'm a young, let me say, I'm this young graduate that really want to get this done. So I don't know if there's any way where I can get to link up with her, and through our company and through partnership, we can get to sort out things and future dealings can be done. I'm actually Mr. Adeoseni colleague. So I don't know the technical issue he's been having. So I think he has a presentation to give. So while we wait for him, please.
Mary, you're muted. You want me to
You're actually on.
Okay. Thank you, young man. One thing I want to say is, don't forget these countries are your competitors. Okay. They're actually nervous Nigeria waking up. So, and then, because once Nigeria is able to position itself into European market, it will reduce their own, quota of the market share. But as I explained, it's a very simple process to follow. It is having a sort of following the proper system and compliance. Every standard has a compliance requirement, so it's following that. You can visit our website, www.bestproduceuk.com, and you can also contact us, info@bestproduceuk.com, and then we can advise you better.
Okay, thank you.
Best produce system.
bestproduceuk.com.
Bestproduceuk.com.
Okay.
And the other info at.
Once you visit the website, you see all the information you need, or you can Google my name.
All right, Ms. Patricia, you're on LinkedIn, I guess.
Yes.
I'll check it out.
We have to leave, Sister.
So, and I'm about technology, so we can
Okay.
also fix the NAFDAC issue if they want certification too. I can as well, you know, I finished from India, so I can get my colleagues. If they need to set up a lab, we can do all of this too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Dayo, are you putting up your hand, or is that a mistake?
Yes, I was trying to.
Okay. All right. Over to you, please.
Okay, thank you very much. It's just a follow-up question. When Ola started, she mentioned that if I'm a novice, I don't know anything about imports. I've just only started listening to this platform two Saturdays ago, so I'm a complete novice. So she said, we need to visit the farm in Nigeria. You're not just going to sit back here and you say you want to import. You need, at least you need to go there, go and look at where the produce is going to be coming.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, that's fine.
But wait a minute. Mary will call you.
All right.
So, okay, and when Sister Patricia was talking, she mentioned that for your produce to be certified, that you might have an auditor come to your farm to do an audit. So my question is, if I have a dream of having my produce on the shelf of Tesco, Sainsbury's, are these people going to send an auditor to that village, in my village back home in Nigeria, where I found a farmer? Are they going to send an auditor to say, we want to see where Mr. Dyer is bringing this produce from? Let's go and audit. Let's go and use the GAP standard to audit. So how do they go about that? How do they achieve that? You're on mute, ma'am.
You are muted.
Okay. Just like they have consultants all over the world, they have auditors, they have certification body, what we call certification body. Unfortunately, in Nigeria at the moment, we don't have certification body. We have somebody like SGS and Bureau de
Veritas. Veritas.
Yeah, they can easily apply to get certification. However, we don't have certification body or accreditation in Nigeria, but we have in neighboring countries. We have in South Africa, we have in Kenya, we have in Ghana. So that can be sorted out. But yes, an auditor must come to visit. At the moment, due to pandemic, we are doing what is called remote audit, okay? So there are means of doing remote audit at the moment, but for the product, they must see where it's coming from.
Okay, thank you very much. So guys, I've been receiving some questions in the chat. Don't worry about receiving the information. So those of you that came in late, the video, the meeting is recorded. So within 48 hours, I will upload the recording to our website for you to watch. So all the information and also the slides from Sister Patricia will be shared with you. So if you want to receive information from TRG, please drop your email address in the chat box so that I will see it and then add your name on the contact list. Okay, so over to you now, Mr. Ade-Oseni. Sorry guys for that interruption. Go on, Mr. Oseni.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my name is Ade Oseni, and my company is Iyeni International Service. We specialize in what we call clearing, forwarding, and logistics. Ade Oseni is a Nigerian from the western part of the country. Briefly, I've been a civil servant, I've been in the airline, I've been in the public sectors, and I have a lot of experience, like Ola and some of you. Now, our company's activities is based on the three words which I mentioned: clearing, forwarding, and logistics. What we have to discuss at this meeting is practically about forwarding and logistics, which is relevant to importing into the UK. My two predecessors, the Ola and Patricia, have done a lot of justice to what it takes to be an importer and what it takes to be successful in that field. On our own part, as a forwarding company, once you give us your container, it's our duty to make sure that we go through all the processes and the platforms in Nigeria to ensure that your consignment gets safely to the UK or wherever you want it. To be an exporter in Nigeria is practically, if you are an importer in UK, like Ola said, you have to come to Nigeria, buy your products, pack it, and then give it to the shipping agent like we are. And then we go through all the other processes like customs, the shipping line, the terminals to make sure that your product arrived. But before that, to really, get through, you have to have a local company. Those are the conditions that you need to satisfy locally in Nigeria to be able to ship your good out of the country. You have to have a local company. You have to have an export license. You have to have a domiciliary account. And then you should be able to open what we call NXP. NXP is opened through your bank towards the central bank. That is, when you ship something out of the country, there is a particular period of time when you need to repatriate the proceeds of that product or the proceeds of that venture back into the country. It's applicable everywhere in the world. When you export something out of a country, then you bring the money back to that country and you repeat your business again. Otherwise, your company can be blacklisted. The alternative to having all that is working with us in a way that we could use our own document to assist you to do all these processes. That is discussable and that is negotiable when the time arises. So the platform to go through, like I mentioned, are just few. There's no complication in the export from Nigeria. Like Ola said, you just have to satisfy all the necessary conditions. You have to research, like Patrician has emphasized, your good have to meet some quality standard, acceptable internationally, and consumable by human beings. So those are the things. It's very easy, but it requires a lot of hard work. And there are a lot of money to be made, like they have said. On our own part, the problem we may have in Nigeria is the problem of the port congestions. And the solution we want to give to that is, once you give us your container, we can ferry it through what we call barge that take containers across the lagoon in Lagos right into the seaport without having to, delay the movement of your container. That also has its cost, but it's faster. And because it's food item, it makes a lot of sense. Whatever you pay will save a lot of losses because your item will not be perish, and your any other product will not be expired before it gets to the destination. So that is what I have to speak about. I wonder if there are questions from you that we open more understanding to what your requirement might be. Simply, if you don't have anybody that could do purchase for you in Nigeria, then we could help you to do that under our logistics services. All that can be discussed. And referring to Dr. Patricia, all these things have to be coordinated, like in other successful nations like Kenya's and wherever. If we pull ourselves together as a team from A to Z, like essentially your farm have to be certified by a specialist, and your product have to be controlled to make sure it meets the standard of your buyers, then we can be successful as a group. So whoever is interested in our services can link up with Ola or Dr. Mary, and then we are at your service. We are available. So questions are expected from you. Thank you.
Mr. Oseni, please show your face now. you just presented so that this people
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm sweating here because your NEPA has taken light.
Your NEPA.
This is my face.
Why do you sweat?
Can you see my face now?
They want to
yes, we can see your face now.
I was getting messages from them saying that, can we see his face?
Okay.
Oh, I'm not an anonymous person. This is my face. But because I'm sweating due to lack of electricity, and I don't want to put on generator because of the noise that will interrupt your enjoyment of
Nigerians. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Oseni. Now the floor is open for questions and answers from all the speakers. So we're going to be taking questions from the participants. It is your day, participants, because without you, the show will not be a success. So it's now your turn. I think there are a number of people raising up their hands. So I'll go with Tado. Tado.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, it's just a bit echoey. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Now, I'm very new to this. This is all new stuff to me. But I just need to clarify the best way to make this work as someone who wants to import food or commodities for sale in the UK is to source directly from the market. Correct? That's to Miss Ola. And hello. I'm sorry, source directly from the farms was what I meant to say.
It's the best way, but we still buy stuff from ordinary markets. If we want quantity that is not, for example, brooms. If we want to buy brooms, we don't have to go to the farm for brooms. So we'll buy brooms in the market. But if it's edible, it's actually better to get from the farm because of the rules there, traceability. Somebody asked a question earlier on, and Dr. Patricia, I said, Sister Patricia actually answered, but I think what the person was trying to say is almost the same thing that you're asking, is like, how would they trace the farm from here?
No, that's not my concern. My concern is I have a product that uses inputs. I'm trying to mix to make a product. So I need to go to different farms to source different inputs. That makes me a manufacturer. I just want to buy something packaged and shipped. Is that a possibility, or is there a way around that?
Which I think I discussed that with you today. I gave you that sort of link. I said, I used the word seedlings because I know your product.
Okay.
So there was another gentleman that I've been talking to before speaking to you a few days ago. I am so these boys are actually expert in that. They have a park, they call it a park, like an agro park. So they literally deal with what you are looking for. So I personally would go there. If I were to do that, I would do research and go to that place or a similar thing or competitors. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's neater that way because of the quality.
Traceability.
Yeah,
It makes sense. What you said now makes sense. Okay, this is not just blindly going to the market and picking whatever it is you find. A little bit of thinking and work needs to be done.
Especially because I understand what you're doing or what you're about to do, and the concept and the bulk and the explanation. From what I understand, you need you need a farmer. You need a farmer. You need to work that way. Yeah.
And one last question to you, Ms. Mustafa.
Yeah.
You talk about expiry dates. How do you put expiry date on Gary?
Actually, it's interesting. I say and I boast that we sell the best Gary in the UK. That is the Yoruba Gary. And we actually did that research, and it's the most expensive Gary in the UK as well. So nobody sells Gary at £20 per bag. We sell it at that amount. The reason being is because of they're really special. So Gary can last up to a year or two because they dry it. They're called Gary Oloyo, but they were especially dry for that fermentation.
Fermentation.
Yeah. So they want that. So we do that extra to make it go for 1 year. So we do give that expiry date for a year or even 2 years. I mean, we've got it here. I don't eat Eba or anything like that. But we keep Gary in the house. My son is not crazy about Eba either. And we've had it for a year or two. My sister takes it all the time. You understand? But only if it's dry, very dry. So all this specification, you can get all this information. FIRO, FIRO, an institution in Nigeria. They're very willing to. They will sit with you, explain it, break it down, tell you all the. They will even tell you all the seeds and what can go wrong and how it can actually do yours. And that's what we did with our Gary. We actually went out for that Gary, if that makes sense.
So when you say FIRO, that is Federal Institute of what does that stand for?
We need to Google
Industrial research.
That's
Industrial.
Federal-
Oshodi. Okay. I know it. I know it. I went to school in Nigeria. I remember learning about all these institutions.
Okay, so so for me it's old age. Senior moment, more like it. So sometimes I don't remember that those full name, but I just know what they do and what they are. So yeah, so Gary have expiry date without a doubt. 1 year is good enough for you to keep a very very dry Gary. So yeah, but the products I was referring to in terms of expiry date are things like Supermalt, Coca-Cola, all those things that you bring in, your Maggi, your sauces and all those things.
All those processed foods.
Yeah, those were things I was referring to. But the likes of Gary and flour powder, that was the one that is in need of.
Elubo.
Yeah, that one. They definitely have expiry date. I don't think that can even do up to a year. I think that is usually about 6 months or 3 months. So you can actually put expiry date on your because you know it. But that's why you should really thoroughly do that desk research and that physical research. You cannot do it without understanding what you're getting into.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Miss Patricia wants to speak. She wants to add something.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if someone.
There is difference between the expiry date and best before. For most dry product, you use best before. The issue with the best before means that you can still use that even after that date has gone, but you can't sell it. You can't sell it in the market. But for example, I have a product that's best before. It has not expired, but expiring date means that food is no longer fit for consumption. Okay, so people can sell best before, and it depends on the moisture content. of
Sorry,
the.
please, can we all mute ourselves? Mute yourself, then when it's time for you to speak, you unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
For dry products, it depends on the moisture content. Will help guide you when you can put your expiry date. But as my sister said, most dry products you can put up to 1 year, but it depends on the moisture content. For gari, you must make sure it's very dry because there are gari and your storage facility too, because if you store products where there is dampness, it can cause it to go into mold. So you need to look at those things. That will help you and guide you on what to put.
So Sister Patricia is actually very correct, but I must say that what Sister Patricia is saying is applicable to you. We are wholesaler. Do you understand? Our product comes in now, it must go by next week. That's our target. We want 10 containers come in, boom, is out there. So we don't have that problem, best before and expiry date. We don't, it's not, that will be your problem now. Mr. Marino, do you understand the difference? You understand? So what you're doing, you need to. Anyway, we'll still. I mean, I'm on your case now, so we'll carry on.
We'll take it offline.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Can I have a question? I have a question, please.
Yeah. Okay, go on, Bawo. Yeah.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. There are some things I'm very confused about. Say, for example, yam, ginger, we're supposed to have the best ginger. We're supposed to have the best production of yam. So if you are trying to get ginger into this country, how do you go about it? And then another question is our food organic or we are using GM product? So if someone can answer those questions for me.
Sister Ola, do you want to take that or you want me
to take it? Because
okay. To answer you about ginger, it depends whether you are bringing in fresh ginger or dry ginger. Which one? Okay. So depending on the product you are bringing in, there is a requirement for every. If you're bringing in fresh produce, there is a requirement for fresh produce. If you're bringing in dried produce, whether split ginger or whether you are grounding it, there is a requirement for each one. So depend on that. The question about GMO, there is standard for GMO product, and there are products that are not allowed into Europe if it's GMO product. That's why the issue of good agricultural practices is required, whether the product is genetically modified or not genetically modified.
Modified, yeah.
Whether you use any chemical, any application at all in the product, the certification has to start from the seeds you use for your planting, okay? Where did you get the seeds you use for planting? You ask about yam. If I get to what you are asking about yam, yes, we are the largest producer of yam worldwide, actually.
Thank you.
Nigeria is the largest producer of yam. But when you come to yam export, it is markets that you are targeting that determines what you bring in.
Okay.
Europe and the US and all over the world, the largest exporter of yam is Ghana. We have two species of yams they export, Puna yam and white yam. Okay, so if you are now coming to export Nigerian yam, Nigeria has different species of yam. You have to know that you're coming into competition with the king of yams in the international market. So you have to place a yam from Nigeria that will be close to what you have, to what they're selling. Okay, in taste and in quality.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, I don't know whether it's Madam
in Ghana, they said Puna yam. I grew up in the 50s, in the 60s. Yam, I believe, maybe I'm too proud as a Nigerian, we have the best yam in the sense that when you put the yam, we call it irefun yam. I'm from Delta. Irefun yam, when you cook it, you put it in. Puna yam has no close to it at all, at all. When you put irefun in your mouth, it melts. And when you come to Benin, as you are coming towards the Delta, you are seeing different yam. In the East, you see different yam. So
it's not known in the market, madam. It's not known in the market in Europe. If you go to what determines the market, like my sister was telling you, the product they bring, if there is no demand for it, do you understand? They will be pushing that product into the market. They will be spending a lot of money marketing it so that the buyers will buy. So if you are bringing a product into the market, you must understand the market where you're placing your product. That's what we call product placement. Is that product already in demand? Okay. For example, somebody mentioned about okra. Okay. Nigerian okra is the one that has the thorns, right? You know, it's very good okra, but it's not being sold in the market here. The one that is being sold is ladyfingers. So if I want to produce that okra to bring into UK, okay, I have to generate demand for it. Otherwise, the wholesalers won't buy it. You understand? It is when people go to ask about products from the retailers, that's what generates your market demand. So it is demand pool. So Nigeria has good yams, but they have not marketed it for years. And therefore the market, the taste is not in the market. So for you to bring that sort of product, you need to make sure you can compete by pulling, let the market pull your product. If you are pushing it, yourself pushing it, it will cost you more money to push a particular product into the market.
Okay.
So just let me have the little thing, because I did a bit of research. I wanted to know why we didn't have them in Nigeria, because why the Nigerians or the Nigerian government were not encouraging that. So I went to the Nigeria High Commission. First of all, they apparently signed one deal. I can't remember the name of the deal anymore, but they signed a deal whereby they said that it will be a disadvantage for them if they go back on that deal, so that they can allow us to bring our product like that in. And also Puna is a brand name. So if we had somebody, like the big boys, like Ade was trying to do that, I think, if we had one or two of our big boys and just call it Nigerian, blah, blah, or one name.
Irefun.
Yeah, Irefun. If we call it, so Puna it means nothing, but it's just a brand name. So everybody, every Nigerians that go to a shop, we all say Puna, Puna, Puna. Do you understand? So that's basically what it is. We have the best, but unfortunately, our government have not done much in terms of encouraging such thing as the okra. That was a big surprise for me. I didn't know anything about that, but I mean, that's amazing. That's something that should be coming in easily, the same way that we have the ugu and the rest of them that they come in every day. So the okra somebody should do something about okra. The newcomers, that's an opportunity for you. Look into it. Okay. Not many people doing okra. I can tell you that. I don't think I know anybody doing okra.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Should we go
Thank
for
you.
Andrew? Andrew is putting up his hand, and then after that, Dio.
Thank you so much again. This is really great. I missed the first section you did in January, and this is an eye-opener. Two questions I have, one for the shipping agent, then also one for Ola. I never heard your presentation, but one of the things I see you guys do, I don't know, do you help in product selection? Is that part of your services? I mean, from product selection, and I know you have the team of all the other services to get into the UK. Do you have that product selection? Thinking I'm coming in like an entrepreneur, I've got, because what we do, we ship machineries into Nigeria, but we're looking at a system to repatriate funds back into the UK. So just like to keep that trade going in and out. So do you help in that aspect, like consultancy, where you can guide a starter company in from trying to develop a product, then get it through all the various hurdles into the UK? That's for Ola. Then the second question for the shipping man is, I know one of the challenges, I have a shipper who ship things out to Nigeria, but what he said, the problem when it's coming, I don't know how you guys manage that. How do you manage the cost so that you have a fixed cost? Because in business, you want your cost fixed. Not that today I'm shipping now, I'm paying £1. Tomorrow I'm shipping now, you now tell me, oh, this thing went up and down, it's now £2. So how do you manage? Do you have a fixed cost? Because if I'm shipping now from UK to Nigeria, I know a kg is £5 and it's fixed. Whether I wake up next year, I know I won't get a surprise. But the other end from Nigeria, now you are talking about badge, you are talking about this. How do you manage the cost so I have a fixed cost I can relate with? Those are my two questions.
Okay.
Okay. Ola, are you going first?
Yeah, I will. Andrew, in terms of picking items for you, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's part, like
Okay.
product selection, because like now we do something on Amazon and we use consultant to create product development. So we have 5-6 products. So I'm looking at that same aspect. Now,
Okay.
if you are able to guide based on all your experience to say, like you talked about broom, you talked about okra, can you help us develop a couple of products which we can ship safely into the UK? Yeah.
Okay, yes, that can be done without a doubt. You know, I always say to people that in your case, I see where you're coming from because you're already an exporter, right? And
Yes, I'm an exporter into Nigeria, but then the other end to importing here, it's our challenge. Yeah.
So that's very clever. But so I have an idea. I can tell you roughly what that can be consistent with what you actually do. That will be related to a bit of what you do. Also, you know, we do food and drinks. So that's you can. There's a lot of avenues there. Yes, I can help with that without a doubt. But I always say that people should actually look for what you think will be necessary. So because I have the answer to yours, yes, I can actually. If
that's fine.
You can get my contact from Mary.
Okay, Mary. Is it on the one on the flyer? Is that the details on the flyer?
Yes, that's correct. The flyer, yes.
That's the phone number and the agro business. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Yes, that's you can get that.
Thank you.
So,
I'll drop you an email.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And
then for the shipper, those cost management.
Yes.
How do you manage the cost?
Yes. I have listened to you very carefully. What I have to tell you is that all the platforms that we pass through towards shipping your container have prices. Like the custom, they have their prices, the shipping line, the terminals, the barge or the transport system, they have their prices. And what we do is to just add some token as the cost of going through all these platforms on your behalf to make some payments and whatever we have to do, and some PR, of course. But
sorry, sorry, please. That's the question I'm asking now. PRO does not have a cost. The shipping line have cost. The custom, do you have cost for them? Because if you now say PRO, you've increased my cost. So those are some of the factors you have in the business bringing back. You understand? So can you quantify to say, okay, to get this product here to here, I will spend this. You know, so I don't know.
Yes, we will definitely give you a bill before we get into handling your services. We will definitely give you an invoice to say this is what will cost you, and negotiable to the extent that we will not have a loss and you will not have a loss. So the only thing that we cannot foresee is the change in policies of the government, which sometimes causes the platform that I mentioned to change their prices too. That if today the custom is charging 10,000, for example, and they change their policies overnight and it becomes 15,000 or whatever, we will inform you. And those things are verifiable. So we will definitely give you an invoice. You will look at it, and when you are satisfied, then we go ahead. That is just the way we operate. Do you understand my answers?
I know I understand what you're saying, but it's still not very clear. I know that's the way it works, but it's still not very clear. It's still not very
Andrew,
clear.
you can never get a clear answer to that, because I think because of the system as well, they do bribery, they spend money to, like the reason why they queue up for a month or two. They have to pay pay this one, pay that one, pay at the port, the boy that will drive, the person that will stay in the car, that will be moving bit by bit and things like that. I think,
Okay,
I think you're
that's
trying.
fine. Thank you so much. Just a quick one to add. I don't know, like I know the Patricia does from. Sorry, sir. She does from East Africa. Can she support products from East Africa also?
Sister Patricia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
we support the process all over, yes.
Okay, from selection and the rest in, right? Product selection in, right? Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I'll reach out to you guys. Let me just walk around. It's easy when you have money you want to spend and you are able to tell your investors, because when you start putting, you need to bribe this, you need to put this. Nobody wants to put a cost to all those figures because it's not fixed. It can increase your cost at any time. But I understand the way it works. So no problem. I'm clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Tayo, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the question I have for Mr. Oseni has already been asked by the previous speaker, which is around the inconsistency of government policies and how it affects their business. Because I'm a novice, I'm just a new starter, and of course I will want to do the maths before I get my hands dirty. And of course, I think the answer to that is I might not be able to get a straightforward answer. That means that when it comes to shipping, what to pay for logistics, it's not constant. It might go up, it might come down. I think that's where the risk is. So I think that has been answered. The other question I have is for Ola. I just want her to share experience when it comes to the first time you import from Nigeria, because you mentioned that we need to go to Nigeria, I need to go to the farm. I haven't been in Nigeria for more than 1 week in the last 10, 15 years. So as you can imagine, if I'm to go there, where do I start from? What do I need to do? So if you can share your experience with us in you sourcing, when you identify the product you want to import, how you got to know where the farm is going to be, and then of course, if there are a few,
nobody's having any drink, and nobody should touch any drink with me or mommy.
Sorry, I can't mute yourself. We're having.
Who gave it to you? Come here.
Dayo, sorry.
Who gave it to you?
You asked me yesterday. I get sorry to fix.
And Mary,
Come
you
here.
can put
Who
that
gave it to
person talking on waiting list. You can just put them there because this is
You can't have that.
Mary, can you mute?
I've muted the person.
Okay, can you give somebody access to be helping you meet these people?
I've got co-hosts, I've muted the person, but I've got other people helping me.
Can I continue now?
Yes, please, Dayo. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was just, I think my question is for Ola, just asking her to share experience with us. Because as a new person, as a new starter, I don't want to make the mistake that she made when she started, okay? So what I would have loved to hear is, oh, this is what I did, this is where I missed it, this is what I should have done, so that I can make notes and say, okay, don't let me walk that way, so that I won't make the same mistake.
Okay. I don't even know where to start, but the experience, I'm still suffering from the trauma from one of the things that I did wrong. You understand? So let me make sure that the boys are in there or not before sharing. And it doesn't really matter. So you mentioned the fact that because you haven't been to Nigeria for a while, I don't think that matters, to be honest with you. It's just you as a business person. If you're a business person, let me give you a classic example. As a Nigerian, I don't eat Nigerian food apart from jollof rice, fish. I've learned how to eat momo, and that is all I eat. So my son, my only child, eats everything that is Nigerian, and I cook it. You know, if I can't cook it, I buy it. So it's not that I'm trying to be because I was born in London. No, it's because I don't like Nigerian food. You know. But anyway, my first experience to actually go to the farm when I got to Nigeria, the lady that I was sort of like partnering or shadowing said to me that I said, don't worry, whatever you want us to do, when we get to Nigeria, our drivers, our house girls, anybody will do it. She said, no. I said, what do you mean? She said, we have to go to the farm together. I said, farm? I don't know. What about snakes, rats, all those things? And the woman was saying, sister, if you really want to know this business, you have to come to the farm with us. So of course, when I got home, I told my mom about it. So the whole house, they were all laughing because of my ways of doing things. And they were like, are you ready for this? But of course, because it's business and I know the amount that we're going to put in it, I had to do it. So luckily for me, the farm that I went to was very sophisticated, totally different. That's the person that produced our gari. I'm not going to say where that gari is from because some expert that will find it. Everybody has been trying to trace it. But luckily, the gentleman used to live in the UK. That's the only farm that I went to. Otherwise, I pay people to go to farm. I won't lie to you. I literally just pay my way out of it. But this particular farm that I went to experience it was very good, very neat. And basically, he lived in the UK and moved to Nigeria. And then he was new in Nigeria. It wasn't that new, it was about 3-4 years old in Nigeria. So that's the only farm that I visited. And I look around to see what they do, how the process and what they were doing, everything that they were doing. And that just gave me an idea. But after that, every other farm has been very far away from Lagos. I don't go past Lagos in Nigeria, and that's the truth. So, so we have a manager and somebody that will pay, that will send all those things. Sometimes it costs us more money to send them to go and get the samples than we do the lab testing ourselves in Lagos to make sure that what the specification that they've given us is what we have in that thing. So, but for people that wants to do proper business, they go into bushes and get it, and buy it and bring it. Does that make sense? So because of that, we tend to only do little basic deep food. So my son's favorite is Indomie, so we don't need to go to farm for that. Drinks, Malta, Guinness, Fanta, all these things. Any product that is boxed, he's ready. He's ready for that anytime, any day. And I think I'm very keen on that as well. But the basic gari, the that, when it's too complex and cumbersome, we literally stay away from it. But if we need to take those sort of things, we will pay people to go and look for them. So yeah, that's just my basic experience. You can do the same, but I'm advised that if you have the opportunity, now everybody is a farmer in Nigeria. It's totally different. Things are changing in Nigeria. People are really, really modernizing a lot of things. The government is supporting them. I don't think you'll find so much snakes, but you definitely find fat rat, a rat that was bigger than my wig. I saw in the market in Indo. I kid you not. Literally, I panicked. I jump, and the woman that was beside me said, auntie, I can't carry you. I said, you will carry. Because I literally panicked. I've never seen fat rat like that in my life. In the market. Yeah, that is one thing that I can't forget in my life. I saw once the fat rat. So, it's messy as well, all these things. When you have to go to your shop, when we say get a storage, when we say get a shop, we're referring to a storage in the market, the interior market, so you can get your stuff. Do you understand? The proper market itself. So I think that's I think that's basically the kind of experience that I will tell you. But the proper experience in where we've lost money, it was through beans. The bean story is that there's a chemical that the farmers put in the beans, and they're not supposed to put that amount, the quantity. And also, by the time the farmers put that quantity, and then the people selling it, also the people selling it in the market will also apply that quantity to save them money, because they buy it at a particular season. So for them to store the product, they will now apply the same chemical. Now, I think Sister Patricia mentioned the quantity of the, she made reference to it, to the chemical that they put it. The chemical, they used to eat it in the UK. They used to put it in food. So they banned it at some point. I mean, she referred to EU, but in the UK, they used to eat it. But the good thing about that product is that if actually you put it in the air, it will disappear. But because of the way they've been managing it in Nigeria, it's not well managed. So by the time it gets here, it's, it's in the storage, they test it, and then you get a lot of it in the beans and all those things, So that's what's one of our horrible experience. So we lost a lot of money. And I was just trying to be smart. I got an information from the Port Health, and I thought, let's store our storage. Let's bring in a lot of containers. So which is the reason why from day one, the first session, I keep telling people that do your research. Really, I did my research, but there were bits that I didn't really research on, in terms of what can go wrong if I bring that amount of beans. So, I brought that amount of beans, and as I said, it's been like 3-4 years now, and I'm still traumatized about it. So really, that thorough research needs doing. Going to the farm to see what it's like the first time is so necessary. It doesn't mean you'll continue to go. In Nigeria, you can pay people to get things done. So you can always do that as well. So yeah, I think, is that okay?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. And can I just add that, is there any chance, or is there any way of transferring some of these risks to insurance? Is there anything like that?
That's very interesting. I'm not sure. There isn't. I don't think so. The answer is no. So I beg your pardon. That's a very interesting one, because we looked into that. So with the things that I've mentioned, no, that's at your own risk. Think about it. But I am talking about insurance, very essential. Something happened. I was so shocked. A lady, one of our food importers, actually ordered, our container came at the right time. Everything was smooth, except that all the products were soaked, literally wet. And we're talking about a lot of money. She must have spent about 60,000 pounds or so, or if not more than that. She had 2 containers and the products were soaked. She was able to save a lot of our drinks, but a lot of things she was not able to save them. So yeah, and the first thing I said, oh, are you insured? And she's like, insurance gay. So yes, on that, it's very important that you insure your product. That you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, over to you, EC. Your hand is raised.
Thank you very much. My question is to all the panelists and the House in general. We've talked a lot about food coming into the UK for us to eat, mainly for the Nigerian diaspora to eat. That's what we've been talking about. My interest also is on commercial agro products coming from Nigeria. I don't know if, I know we don't have, apart from ourselves, much of a market internationally for our foods, like we've talked of yam and okra and things like that. But what about commercial products like maybe yam starch or cassava flour that is used in pharmaceutical industries? Is there a market there? Yeah, is that area developed? What's the position with that?
Do you want me to come in? Okay,
Yes,
there are markets for everything, but in short, if you get commercial quantities where you just produce and supply to one buyer, either in pharmaceutical industry or in any of the industry, even pet foods, but you need to meet the quality standard. Every industry have quality standard. So yes, there is demand in certain processes, but you need to meet quality standard. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'll be talking to you, definitely.
We've been looking for some time.
Yes, it's an ongoing conversation. Thank you.
Okay, over to you, Tado.
One more question to Ms. Ola. I couldn't help but hear when you said something about chemical compositions and tolerable limits. So if you're bringing in Gary, for instance, that's just an example, or bringing anything food or processed, where do I get information on what sort of chemicals are tolerable, what the limits of these chemicals are, all that kind of technical information? How do I navigate that minefield?
Okay, they're not, I mean, they're things that you can find online, but to get it easy, to make it easier for yourself, if you go to DEFRA or Port Health, they have all these things there. They will tell you, it's written there. Many people don't do that, but DEFRA, DEFRA, it's one of the government agency in the UK, and this other
Port Health.
Port Health, yeah, Port Health are very thorough as well because they check. So if you know about it, you make their job easier. So that's what they like. So they will give you all these things are free to. They're all in the open. You get all this information there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I mean, again, I'm here.
Okay, if I may just add to that, sorry, Dr. Mary, if you don't mind. A good starting point is it Food Standards Agency, their website?
FDA, yeah, yeah.
FSA.
Yeah, but yeah, that's actually one of my favorite place. But
yeah.
You are on mute. You are on mute. Hola.
Oh yeah, Isi, you're quite correct. That's one of my best agency. I have very good relationship with them. But I'm saying Port Health because Port Health would know when the thing comes in. It doesn't go to FDA. They don't refer it to FDA. They would Port Health are the ones that have that information. They will tell you the quantity. They will even pronounce it in Yoruba and also translate it in English. They will even pronounce it in Igbo and also translate it in English. That's the sort of thing. They know egusi, they know that is our melon. They know this. So they know what chemical. They know that if you put a bono in a certain temperature, something can go wrong. There'll be mold and all those things. So that's actually very thorough. You will get thorough information there. So, but EC is quite right about federal, the agency she mentioned as well.
Food Standards.
Yeah.
Agency. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Oseni, you're over to you, please. You can unmute yourself. You are muted, Mr. Oseni.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You've muted yourself again. Mr. Oseni, okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I was going to respond to the lady who was talking about commercial quantity of some Nigerian agro products. The first part of the question was answered by Patricia, that control and certification is very important. It's very, very important. There's no way you get into that sector without strict compliances. The other thing I want to add to it is that we have a link with some cooperative that are in the sector of cashew, coffee, and dry ginger. And those things can be raised in commercial quantity when anybody is serious about it. But the control and testing and compliances are essential. Those are the things that have to be taken care of. So it's not a problem. Nigeria is producing large quantity of certain things, and then they are up for the international market for anybody that has the heart to follow the processes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oseni. Ene.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Ola, for inviting me to this novel forum. And I think without agriculture, we would not be here existing. My question particularly goes to Ola and Patricia. Is it a good opportunity now for us to set up a cottage industry association in Nigeria? My reason for saying this is that we know that we have manufacturing firms that are producing equipments for farming in small localized way. We also import goods. From engineering point of view, I strongly believe the only way to penetrate and promote and encourage other especially the Western part of the world, to believe and trust us, is to have an association that is accountable. The same time, this association will also be able to support in terms of training for small businesses. We are not individually able to compete with people like Dangote. And so therefore, it's high time we look at how we can bring engineering, small businesses, entrepreneur, and farming and other products together to work together as an association, so that we can look at these compliances together, and so that we're able to end child labor and all those things that take advantage of small businesses. And of course, the major one is funding. I'm all out for that. I'm not an importer, but I am prepared to work with people here to look at how do we bring about these cottage industries rather than have them spread. If we go in the south of Nigeria, we know that they don't have a lot of money like it is in the southwest of Nigeria. So how do we bring everybody together? My other question is, now I want to give one example of something I really love, Cameroon pepper. I have poured out a whole pot of rice because of Cameroon pepper, and I still buy them. I still go to the shops to complain. I think Patricia did mention, or Ola did mention, that you can trace back to the farm. I want to patronize my brothers and sisters who own shops here, but this is my experiences. How do I get back to these people, these shops, to say, really, you need to really understand and listen, because I have made complaint about this Cameroon pepper. We keep having Cameroon pepper with sand. 2 weeks ago, I deliberately poured all the packet of Cameroon pepper, put it in the pot, and then wash it. Right at the bottom was sand. How do we compete with others if we keep having substandard products like this? I love Cameroon pepper. I put it in anything. So please, we need a way forward. We need Nigeria to step forward. We don't want all these 419 issues. We have great Nigerians doing great things. We need to monitor ourselves. That's my question. How do we get back from here
Patricia, you have, or the rural gym, you have people that you export things to, you bring things in. But we complain to the shops we buy things. They don't take it back. They don't refund the money like they would do in Tesco and Asda and even give us compensation. I don't actually need that. But I want this to be traced back and it needs to stop.
Okay, I can help with that question. It's funny, Engineer Nell and I were talking about 3 a.m., about 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's a very compassionate person, and she was telling me, this was even last week actually, she was telling me about the Cameroon pepper and how good it is to use it in the Nigerian ingredient when you cook stew and everything, you know. So it's I don't think I've ever used it. I don't know. But anyway, she mentioned that, and then she told me her experience. First of all, you know, as much as we want to patronize ourselves, and I just checked just now, Sister Kemi spoke earlier on. Sister Kemi is a food expert, a guru. Her level is out of this world. She actually supplies majority of the main schools in the UK for quality. She's the one that introduced Nigerian food to majority of schools in the UK. She sits on the board with our MP. So she's not here anymore, but she's been chatting with me online as we speak right now. I would wanted her to answer, because she asked the question. She said, why do Nigerians still serve bad quality food and everything? I don't know how we can control that. I am telling you, but I would love that to be. I personally don't like going to our Niger shop if it's not like Ades or Abi Global and all those things. As a matter of fact, I buy most of my junks, like Maggie, everything from Asda. I don't like going to a meat shop to go and buy meat. I don't like the looks like that. I'm not trying to be anything. It's just that little things irritate me. So what I do is I'll go to basic places that I'm sure that I can take it back if it's not working. And it's very wrong to say that all Nigerian shops are like that, because I've had 1 or 2 people complain on our agro-business expert, Pastor Adedoyin. He complained about a certain thing and he got a refund and apology as well in less than few hours. It was, you know, the established organizations. The gentleman said to me, if you can bring in the receipt, if you can bring in the receipt, they will refund. How we are going to do this is what I can't really answer, because I know how we get it wrong. We have the importers and we have associations, but certain people are not registered. They don't know, but they just want to come and make money from the UK. So when they come to London, they will bring nonsense and go to any Asian shops or any other shop to sell it to them. And they don't inspect it. They don't look at it and see that these things are wrong. And having said that, it's not that the local authority don't go into shops and check all these things. They actually go into Nigerian shops to check to see that the quality and all those. They really seize a lot of food that are not up to standard. They seize them from all these shops, and it's usually funny enough. It's usually pepper with coloring and palm oil, and one stone called Calabar. I don't know what that is, but it's a stone. They actually take it. They're not supposed to sell it. They don't like it. Do you understand? So those are the sort of things that they take from them, you know. So I don't know if Sister Patricia can, in terms of association, I can give you 50 associations that we have in Nigeria. They belong, there's the association of tomato, potato, onions, every food have association. They have leaders, they are established, they have the vegetables, they have all these things. But you know, the people that bring the illegal stuff, just like any business, you have those illegal ones bringing it and making a mess or mockery of it. Do you understand? So it's we, the buyers, that we should start watching out. I've gone to a shop before and I told the gentleman, I saw something there. It was even cola nut and it looks like a rotten thing. I said, no, it wasn't cola nut, it was bitter cola. And I said to him, I said, sir, what is this? He said, oh, it's bitter cola. I said, this is not bitter cola. This looks like bitter cola that's been there for 50 years. And if you don't take it off the shelf, I'm going to call the, you know, the authority to come and do something about it. And it took I educated him. I said to him that, this product must have time. You can't be storing this. If you don't know anything about it, go on Google and find out about it. So we all have to work together. Where you bought your thinking for, go back to them and tell them what happened, and take your receipts to them and tell them. I don't know either me or Patricia can control that one. I mean, what Patricia is doing, it's to control certain things, but those are food going to places like Asda. You won't find those things there, and if they are, if you give your receipt back, you get the proper one. So it's a big problem that we all have to we all have to put ourselves together to get something out of it, to do something right.
I don't have time for food and
sorry, Sister Patricia, did you want to respond?
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for my sister to finish. Yes, to start with, regarding the bad product you got, that's what is adulterated product. It can be reported to the trading standard. Every borough has a trading standard. They have food inspectors. And that this is how, if they receive several reports, that's how the product is banned. In short, at EU level, every day, IFS actually send us products from different countries that has been contaminated or has issues, and that is how EU bans products. It's sad that pepper is adulterated at times, and that's why ground pepper coming in has a lot of issues. Just like palm oil, because palm oil, when it comes here, it's, I always say, just like human beings, we are freezing here, we are cold. The same thing when product comes that is from tropical country, it has effects on them. So people put Sudanese oil for palm oil, and that's why we have problem that is controlled. Regarding associations, I have actually, in Nigeria, the last I was at the federal government, they were inaugurating the 47th, or is it 45 or 46th association, okay, in Nigeria. They are so, my sister said, everything. They have Ogo Association of Nigeria. They have Snails Association of Nigeria. They have every product association of Nigeria. However, my experience in Nigeria, I have categorized the farmers into two. There is what is called briefcase farmers, okay? And there are what is called real farmers. Unfortunately, the briefcase farmers are the ones that is trying to work with the federal government, trying to work with donor agencies to get the money. But my experience is that doesn't filter to the real people on the ground, which are where you need to bypass the briefcase farmers and go directly to work with the producers who can produce products. There are now people working with qualities in Nigeria. There are people, in short, you talk about Cameroon pepper. I'm actually trying to work with Cameroonians where the pepper come from to have Cameroon pepper. I have some in my house I use, but I make sure they go to buy it and wash it before it's grounded, to bring it over for me. So yes, we can do something. It's little by little, we can move a mountain. Little by little, we can change things in Nigeria. We can continue to push for here. If you get a shop and they sell you something that is not correct, you go back to that shop, they're supposed to refund you your money, okay? If they refuse, you tell them, you report them to the trading standard. Because if I buy something from Asda or Tesco and I open it and I saw something contaminated, they're supposed to take the whole of that batch out. That's why you hear, oh, this batch is being pulled out. And that's what the standard requires. You must have a batch. The product you bought has to have a proper labeling. What is in that product? The name of the company that you bought that product from. They have to put things in place. So don't just leave it. If there is a name on that, please contact the owner of that product and say they should amend their processes. Otherwise, you will report them to the system. That's what I needed to. I think he answered your two questions. But from here, yes, if the importers comes together, you see, one thing with this country, there is a problem, they need solution. Okay, they just want people who will bring solution. The importers can actually come together and form association to support each other, and it will also help where you're having challenges, government can support. You know, donor agencies, there are donor agencies. It's only recently that DFID, you know, the Department of International Trade, changed from giving the federal government money to now what they do is that if you have to apply for funding from outside, all African countries or anywhere, you must have a company in UK that will be the main administrator to hold that money, to manage that money. So they are no longer giving government, and they have a lot of fundings available, either for IT, either for agriculture, or different things, you know. So you can visit what is called Innovate UK. Innovate UK is the company managing all the DFID fundings and things like that. So there are a lot of funding going around to support businesses from UK, from Europe, from other places, you know.
Okay, so can I just add to that? Thank you, Sister Patricia. We have a food importing association, which has been existing for over 4 or 5 years since we started importing. We were able, myself and Sam, the shipper, Kami, we were the organizers or coordinator for that as well. So what we've done is that all the food, the big boys and the big girls, and we, the upcoming importers or the established importers, we're under one roof. We share ideas. We, at the beginning, it was very, very well coordinated. As much, you see, the point is, as much as we have that, if we have any issues and we want to, the government in the UK or the government in Nigeria to be involved, personally, I put myself out there to look for it. They don't have the time. They make so much money. These importers have been extremely successful for 20, 30 years, and they've been doing all these things by themselves. Do you understand? So we, so they exist. If you need help, if you reach out to them, they will. I mean, the nice ones amongst them will definitely put their hands out. If it's going to affect them, they fight for it. They know these things. They're pregnant. I always say they're pregnant because they're endowed with information and raw and the authentic and the real thing. They know exactly what to do in any circumstances when it comes to importing. So they are there. It's not that they don't exist. It's just, I don't know. We need to start standing up for ourselves. Like what Engineer Ene went through. Engineer Ene is an activist now. She's not a softie. She's a warrior. So I'm so surprised the way she's taking it. I mean, she knows what to do. That shop should be responsible because the only reason why she's buying from the people that have sand in their thing is so that she can profit from it. So she will know the difference between quality and those who can supply. They spoil things for importers, so I always encourage you to deal with those kind of people so they know that by buying cheap doesn't necessarily mean good quality. So it's just one of those back end that they bought from and they've sold it to them at a cheap rate. But anyway, the good news is one or two people that I've invited are here, and they both going into Cameroon peppers, big time. So I think one of them experience as well is the reason, because he's a caterer, his wife is a caterer, and he decided that enough is enough. We don't want all this nonsense, so we need to improve this. So by improving it means that they are going to start packaging it, and they're going to rebrand it properly as well. So, I mean, people are doing things, you know, like our food is, you know, basically the way we're doing things are totally different. So people are doing things really and truly. So we have to start doing more things by encouraging ourselves and, you know, referring to what is wrong to the right bodies, you know, to the right bodies, you know, as much as we don't want any shop closed down because it's ours.
Okay. Okay.
So them know that things have to be done properly.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. I know there have been some people putting up their hands for over 15 minutes now. We'll go first with Mr. T, and then Bumi.
Hello,
Mr.
good
T?
evening. Yes, good evening and well done to everyone. Well done. I was listening earlier, and sorry, I came on late, and I just caught on to a little bit of what you were saying about an association. This is for Ola. Something about Philo or something like that. An association that has the general information to do with whatever you want to do. I don't know whether it's quantity, weights, and different things when you want to start out in Nigeria. So that's the name is what I want to catch on that one. And then my other
F-I-R for F-Firo, F-I-R-O.
Okay,
It's
great.
an institution. I think it's Federal Institution of Research.
Institute of Research, Oshodi.
Oshodi, yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay, so I guess maybe do they also do? Are they the ones that you would send, presumably your testings to in a way, or you know what I mean?
They don't. They will refer you to a lab.
Right.
They're very thorough. If you know about them, I mean, for example, if you want to do pounded yam, for example, they will show you the process in there, how it's done, break it down from beginning to the end. So they're very thorough. But in terms of lab testing, you need to actually get your lab testing. Usually universities and private organizations do lab testing. They have a lab testing. So
and that's where I was going to come into as well. That although we may go in there with all our sincerity to do business, you're always going to get one unscrupulous individual or companies who will want to still do things wrong. Which is where I was going to say the due diligence. Even though you're going to follow it from A to Z, there's still going to be some stumble, knowingly or unknowingly. Which, when I was listening to your beans story, was rather unfortunate. Because obviously you learn as you go along, but it could also be that the due diligence was skipped or was somehow mishandled from the other side, or whichever case. So, but is there a final checking point? Is that final due diligence checking point the onus being on us before it leaves the dock in Nigeria, as it were, before coming into UK? Is that our diligence, or the company we put the business into to do that for us? Are you with me? So that's one question. And then the other one I was going to say is that for a novice like myself, for instance, I have people in Benue State, for instance. But obviously, as a new person, what is the smallest budget you can even start with to say you want to even start to bring things over from there to here? Because I actually have people, and I'd like to help farmers in particular, things like that. So I'd love some of your advices, please. Thank you.
Okay, so was that addressed to me, Mr. T?
Any one of you, but yeah, I think the bean story was yours, wasn't it? So I guess you can answer that. Yes.
So what was the question about the bean story again?
Just about due diligence, that even though we have an A to Z of due diligence to follow, stumbling will still happen. So is that onus, that final onus before it leaves the country, coming over here down to us if we're not?
It was I think that was our second. So one, we were very naive. Two, I probably wore my Nigerian thing, thinking I can brag my way out of certain things. I suppose that was also one of the things that I did wrong. But what went wrong was the opportunities that you have now, we didn't have it. And this is the reason why I'm very happy to do this. I didn't have anybody holding my hand. I was basically, I don't like being discouraged. If I want to do something, nothing can stop me. I don't, I'm just one of those extremely confident person that would do, if I want it, I go for it. Do you understand? I try to make sure that I don't let anything stop me. So I did my research and I did few things, but what I didn't know was that farmers also put that covers, I'm trying to remember the name of the chemical, that covers in the planting. And after my experience, I was able to walk back to find out why they're doing all that. And it's part of laziness. The farmers in those days never did that. They would use maybe the Cameroon pepper. They would use some kind of pepper to get rid of the weevils. But in those days, but now the new farmers, they don't have the patience to do that. So yeah, the owners, yeah, really, I can blame myself. And also, one of the things that I learned from that is anything that would bring in, I still do lab testing. You understand? Regardless, I don't play with that to make sure that I have both the wet and the dry testing to be sure that we have the quality that we're looking for and there's nothing wrong. Do you understand? And I've spoken to the big boys and big girls that will say, not only do they do the test in Nigeria, they send it over to them in the UK. I've never done that. I've done mine on Nigeria, but the big boys actually will send it back to the UK to make sure that they use the lab testing in the UK as well, as much as the one in Nigeria. So really, like anything else you do, it's your business. You take care of everything, be thorough. That's the reason why I'm saying that if you want to start, make sure you go. Don't rely on anybody, sister, brother, uncles. No, make sure you understand the system and put a system in place, the things that they need to do for you. With the digital nowadays, you can get everything, you can monitor it. I don't do that. We've never done it. Literally is a break for me to go and load for my son. Does that, if that makes sense? But those who do it, do it. Do you understand? But you have to go there and just have that feel and know it is what it is. And the ones that you need to change, you can change to make sure that you're not putting yourself at any risk. Do you understand? So it's it's just that diligence. You really need to do those things. Does that answer your?
What's money? Yeah.
Sorry?
Yes, that answers the question. And then the second one of budget, like as a novice, really and truly on a very small scale, I know it's like saying how long is a piece of string. Just any kind of guidance would be very helpful. Just how much would you need as a small person? Like for instance, now we were trying to bring in honey, but honey is one of those things you need to test, or you need, because there's watery honey, there's lie honey, So these are the pitfalls are still grave, still many. And like you say, you need to know the people, you need to know your product and go there. Even though we have reliable sources where we can get it from, you can't forever say it's going to be 100%. So in a budget sense, depending on the product, the smallest type of product you can think about, how much you reckon a small scale person can start with, please.
In importing, I don't know about small scale, but I'm just going to talk about what I know and what I understand. It's a little bit capital intense. You can't make money if you don't have capital for importing. As simple as that. But if you want to do things like small things that you can air freight down there is a different thing. But if you're bringing container loads, you need capital, depending on the product you're bringing. And if you're bringing to make money, you have to use money. Do you understand? So if you want to make money, say for example, let me give you a classic example. You spend 25,000 or 30,000 on one container, for example, and your profit margin is about 2,000, 2,500. For you to make it proper, you would have two of that container. So as this one comes in, this one comes in. Do you understand? So you're making 5,000 as opposed to the 2,500. Does that make sense? Saying so that's the clever way to do it. My son is nicknamed Indomie Director. The reason why I say that is because he finds the job so neat, so clean, no stress, because he will call Indomie the factory and get them to load. He will have his manager filming whilst they're doing that, testing, looking at the date, expiry date, and blah, blah, blah. And because it's so neat to do, he doesn't mind that the profit margin is low. But what his focus was to have at least 3 coming in, boom, 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 in, out.
Mhm.
So if he's making 2,000 on the 6, very quite capital intense, the amount they put. So the big boys don't really look into such container. That's not their business per se. Do you understand? Because they can't invest 30 or 40,000 and just be collecting 2,500 or 2,000 from it. That's not their vision, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
so he will do 3. So that for a young boy is a good thing. Do you see what I'm saying? So to tell you that I have a figure, if you tell me what's roughly how much will a container of blah 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 will cost, I can give you an estimate. It doesn't mean that I get it right. It changes every time in Nigeria. You see, in terms of the pricing.
Yeah. Yes.
But I can give an estimate. So if you say how much will a container of Indomie, for example, I can say that. I can give an idea if I remember. I also can give idea of the Indomie of Gary and you understand? But if you're doing the variety, also I can give an idea, but it does. It certainly won't be accurate because where I buy from is not where you're going to buy from. If I buy bulk and store it in our storage, and when you go back there, it might be a different ball game. You know, we could have bought when they were doing their bonus. They have this sales that they do. You know, so it really differs. But really, I mean, maybe the question should say roughly how much should we have before we start? I think maybe, and that is if you're looking at the container, not if you're buying a pallet of something freighting, you know, not that kind of So
I understand. It's true. It's like how long is a piece of string? The container is probably more appropriate, but I understand anyhow. One will have to do once what they call it, make research to understand it better. Thank you.
Okay, can I add there? You mentioned you will be exporting from Benue State. Don't forget Nigeria has got 30-something states. So it depends where your products will be coming from. And that will also, you need to plan your logistics. I wanted to ask Mr. Osei whether their logistics start from where individuals, you know, all over Nigeria or just from Lagos. Because when I did the yam for Nasarawa State, it started from Nasarawa State. And we know that you need to look at the humidity of that particular product. You need to look at the temperature control for that particular product. And that will determine how that product is transported before it gets to the port. Okay? And all that, depending where you are sourcing your product, will depend the cost of your logistics. So you see, I always say to people in planning business, the monetary aspect of it is the last aspect because you need to do, my sister said, do backwards planning. You start from the market to where your product is coming from, and then before you start putting things together. You can also, you can start export not by sending containers, you can start export by, there is what is called groupage, which I believe the logistic person can talk to you about. And you can start by freighting your product. You know, there are some people who have not started, I didn't start by container immediately, I started by freight. Okay, although it's more expensive, so you don't take heavy products like yams. If you freight yams, it's going to be very, very expensive. So it depends where your product is coming from and where you're going to send it. Do your cash flow focus before you start your business. Do your business plan and do your cash flow. Look into where is the market. You haven't talked about market. Who will be your buyer? Find out before you, because there are people who just thought, oh, we send yam. They didn't know the requirements for the yam or things like that. They didn't have temperature control. They didn't have the humidity control, and then the product will be damaged. So please, any first-time exporter or importer, spend time to do your planning. If you do good planning in everything you do in life, you get better results. Don't be in a rush to the market because you go and say, okay, let me go and buy Indomie because my sister has just told you about Indomie or Gary. You come to the market, you have not planned where you will sell that product. You know, if some are not.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sister Patricia. Just before we move on to Bumi, I'm aware that this session has already run for almost 3 hours. And I appreciate all of you for staying till this moment. Obviously, we know that this is the second session on this importation. And we would like to conclude on how to move forward. As an organization, our own duty as a non-profit organization, we're not into business, we're not profit making. Our own job is to provide this platform, which is a learning platform for people. And we support high standards. Like from the beginning of this session, I think the summary of the whole thing is do your research, and everything you want to do must be of high standards. For instance, what I have done from the previous session is to take up some people's products on this platform. Some people contacted me that they had some products, and I checked them out, tested the products, and now we, as an organization, TRG, we have taken some of these products, 2 of them, as part of our social enterprise. So meaning that we have placed them on our website. I'll just share my screen with you. We've placed them on our website, and what we're going to do is help them to promote their products on the internet, promote their products on the internet, and also make a bit of profit, so a tiny bit of profit from it, which will help us in doing the things we do, like feeding the poor, establishing the libraries in Nigeria, and all of those things. So high quality, we have tested those products, we have seen that they are good, and now as a way of helping these people as part of what we do is to promote it on our website. So we've just set up this e-commerce shop. I'll just click on that to show you what we're doing. Easy Niger and Shewa's jollof paste. So this is what our shop, our online shop looks like. So we've got these products, and people can, these are still the people's products, but when we sell them, they take their own share of the amount, and we get a tiny bit of profit out of it, and that goes into our account. So that is our own way of supporting you. So what am I saying in essence? What I'm saying in essence is everybody on this platform, if you want to do something, you've got to be serious about it. You've got to high standards. And also somebody contacted me that she's a caterer. And I said, okay, I want this, that, I want a foriro, I want jollof rice. She said she had been doing it before, but now she wants to come back again and start the business again. I said, okay, do this for me as if you're doing it for a customer. And she supplied, and her food is fantastic. However, I have told her, we will promote your product, but your business, but you have to maintain high standards, the quality. The problem with us is quality. You start today, the thing is good, everything is working fine, and then next month or in 6 months' time, you order the same food and it's rubbish. The standards have fallen. So we don't want to be part of that as an organization. And we'll do everything possible to support you guys. So before the end of this meeting, Ola and all the speakers will wrap up with us. We'll just tidy up and say, how are we going to move forward? We've had 2 sessions now. People want to do something. Only if you are serious-minded, only if you really want to do this importation, then Ola and the experts will take you further, okay? And something really nice will come out of it. But, and again, just to let you know, guys, if you would like to support what we're doing as an organization, you can visit our website. We want to feed, like I said at the beginning, some of you came in late. We feed the poor in the society. We know that COVID-19 has really, really affected many people. The problem of hunger is real. It is very real. So we are providing hot meals, jollof rice to families, to children that have been affected by this COVID pandemic. We did it in December, but because we don't have enough money to keep doing it regularly, we haven't done it again. It is our interest to do this as frequent as possible, like every week, because people don't eat once a month. So, and what we've done, we have £2 for each person. We've costed everything, and it will be £2 to feed 1 person, to provide the bowl of jollof rice for 1 person. So if you want to support us, that's a very simple way of supporting our organization. You can either donate online, or you ask for our bank details. I could text the bank details in the chat box to everyone, and you put your little donation for our organization. But yeah, that's it really. And then we'll go on over to Bumi. Please don't forget to put your contacts in the chat. If you want to receive further information from us, please put your contact details in the chat box. And now I'll move to Bumi. Sorry about the delay, Bumi. And next will be Tokumbo, and we'll wrap up.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bumi. I would really like to appreciate the organizer, the TRG, Dr. Mary Higuike, who has been doing an excellent job, and the speakers before me as well. I mean, the facilitators of the workshop. I've really benefited a lot from what is going on. I'd like to share my experience briefly as well. What happened really was that we started by supporting use of community development activities back home in Nigeria, in Ekiti, to be precise, supporting local farmers and other agribusiness ventures. But from the outcome of those workshops and seminars that we did over a few years, so we realized that we needed to establish a factory that we take the products from the farm. So we decided to start a cassava processing factory, and with gari in mind and other products from there. And then we're planning to go into yam flour, ilubo, and pando yam. But at the moment, we've started with gari and yam flour, which is ilubo. The factory was designed with high specs, and all the processes, we have quite a lot of automated and mechanized processes there, and local women are employed, and then We know the farms where the cassava comes from. Sometimes we go to the farm to harvest it, but we didn't go into farming ourselves. But what I found out is that over here, our product is very much high quality, and to my surprise, people when people said this, oh, this must be Gari Jebu. But the question really is that it seems as if the only high quality Gari there in the market over here is Gari Jebu, and of course our product is not from Ijebu. So when our first consignment is going to arrive in UK in a few weeks, but we don't really want to market it as Gari Ijebu because it's not from Ijebu. So that's a challenge in a way. I don't know, because we've gone to a lot, it's quite a very, very high standard, high spec factory. And with all the product tracing and all that. So we've done the laboratory tests and all, packaging, everything is high spec. But we don't want to label it as Gari Jebu. Any advice? I mean, anyone can.
I can take that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know how you're going to escape without the Gari Jebu, because we actually took a risk as well. Our Gari was Gari from not necessarily Ijebu Gari, but the person that processed the Gari is from Ijebu and Abeokuta. So we're able to get away with it. Do you understand? So, but if you take Gari to them outside, we did that research on Gari, so I can tell you this. So what we did eventually was we put the name that we wanted the Gari to be, which was Gari Oloyo, right?
Okay.
So on top of it, we put Gari Jebu in a very small print, but so the focus that we enlarged, it's just my marketing skill. So the font on that Gari Jebu was very thin, but Gari Oloyo. So the Gari must show that they are very familiar with. It's just marketing. So it's the way the Puna got there. So if you want to call it Gari Ekiti, do you understand? Yeah. You know, so you can have a little print like Ijebu Gari or something like that. I think that will work, because once you get it to non-Nigerians, because what we were doing was giving them to taste our Gari. I see, that's what, whether you're Nigerian or not, we wanted you to taste that Gari. When we went to One's, when we went to all the shops, all the big stuff, we're telling them that, look, we're doing something totally different. You need to taste it and taste the usual Gari that you have. So I don't know how you're going to escape that, because the people that you're going to sell to don't know any other Gari but Gari Jebu. Do you understand? So it's a risk that you need to take. But for I would take the risk, but the name must have Gari in it. Does that make sense? Gari Jebu, they already know Gari. Do you get what I'm saying?
So we have to use Jebu in it.
I don't know how you're going to escape it, but that is what they know.
I think you can escape it.
Sorry?
I come from Delta. I come from Bender. I've never seen Gari Jebu until I came to London. And we eat yellow Gari.
Not on Gari Jebu. This man is from Ekiti. Majority of our food importers are from that side, Ekiti.
No, what I'm trying to say is that you can give a name, just like...
That's exactly what I'm saying. I said you can take the risk. But every shop and all these people that you go and meet, they know Gari and they know Jebu. So I said what we did was we put the thin name Gari Jebu on it, and then we wanted the brand to be known as Gari Oloyo. So we called it Gari Oloyo right underneath that. So people were seeing the Gari as Gari Oloyo. So those who recognize it were beginning to recognize that Gari Oloyo. So it's marketing. Does that make sense? You know, it's not, there's nothing wrong.
Sorry, can I say something? Sorry, my name is Lola Oyinola Akinde. Sorry, can I talk? Yeah, so what the lady is trying to explain is that you can put the name you want on bold. They put Gari Jebu light
in a small letter.
Yes, so later on you'll be able to like get your brand name, you know, so that's what she's trying to explain.
That is wrong. That is, you can't call it Jebu Gari. It's not a Jebu Gari.
Can I say
call
something?
It Nigerian Gari.
Patricia is talking.
Can you hear me? Yes. My sister have explained to you why she called her own Jebu Gari. Okay.
I didn't call it Jebu.
No, she didn't.
I have to explain to you. I'm from Ijebu. Please, can I say something?
Okay, Tokumbo. Okay.
Yes,
Your hands
yes,
have been up since.
yes. I'm from Ijebu. The fact that they call it Gari Ijebu does not mean that it was manufactured in
From
Ijebu.
Jebu,
The
yes.
kind of Gari that it is, it has this it has this sour taste when you soak it.
Family.
That is why it is called Gari Ijebu. It's widely known as Gari. It doesn't have to be produced in Ijebu.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Ijebu, and we eat Gari that if you the kind of Gari that you soak and drink is different from the one that you use to make eba. So the Gari Ijebu that people say Gari Ijebu, it's originally from Ijebu, but does not have to be manufactured in Ijebu. It's the quality of the Gari that makes it, that's where the name was coined from. That the Ijebu people make very, very good Gari, and the kind of Gari they make, you can soak it as well as cook it. Some Gari you cannot, it's not nice to soak.
Okay.
So that is where that comes from. That's the origin of it. It's not necessarily manufactured as, but you see, the quality of the Gari is what people, that's why they call it Gari Ijebu, is the quality, not because it's from Ijebu necessarily, but the origin of that Gari, because of the sour, the quality of it, that is why it's maintained that name Gari Ijebu. So it could be manufactured in Lagos, because I'm a child of a manufacturer. I'm trying to go into manufacturing, food manufacturing myself. And one of the products that I'm looking at manufacturing, because I'm actually a biotechnologist and a process engineer. But what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to go, if it wasn't for COVID, I'll be in Nigeria now. I'm trying to go back home and set up my own factory so that I wasn't even looking into importation, but this is an eye opener for me. This session is I missed the first one and I missed part of this one, but it's really, really interesting that one could actually do a lot of things, because apart from manufacturing, the lab analysis, the nutritional values and things like that, I'm quite very conversant with that. So when you were speaking about Gari Ijebu, it's interesting because the explanation of it, a lot of people say, Gari Ijebu, but really they are talking about the sour Gari that you can soak, the best one. The best Gari was originally from Ijebu, but does not have to be manufactured in Ijebu. I hope I'm clear.
Okay, Tokumbo, that's actually very good. Well done to you, and thanks for coming, by the way. The reason why I said you're right, my mother is from Ijebu, and I know Ijebu very well myself. But I'm telling you that you're right with what you said. It's not even that. It's just that, you see, the way we have Punayam in the UK, they branch everything. We are from Ijebu, but most of our Gari is from Ivory Coast. In my own household, we're from Ijebu because my sister married an Ivorian and my brother married an Ivorian, and the Gari is extremely good. That's what they eat at my place. But the Ijebu Gari that you're talking about is Gari Oloyo.
Yes.
Gari, or whatever they say it. So that's what we are selling. Even though it's from Ijebu, the person producing is not even from Ijebu, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. Yeah. That is the originality of the
product. This man is looking for is the concept. He has his own brand. They want to produce, they want to promote Ekiti now. Ekiti would the commissioner, Mr. one of the agriculture commissioner, is somebody that we know very well. He's in our group as well. So he would like to see Ekiti calling Gari Ekiti rather than Gari Ijebu. Do you understand? So I understand.
I understand you perfectly. Well, you see, the thing is, like you said initially, Gari is originally from Ijebu. Yes, Ekiti people make Gari as well. But you see, when you come up with Ekiti Gari, people are looking, where is this? Which one is this one? They're not very conversant with it. They're not used to it. And you know how people are. change. That's the most difficult thing with human beings.
Change. That's what I'm saying. We need to encourage this man. His load is coming right now, so he can't be waiting on the way changing and all those things. The way forward is a market man now. He wants to sell. This is what we did.
I know.
I did it, and when I don't know if you were around, but I did say that as much as it will sound boastful, we sell the best gari in the UK, and our gari is the most expensive gari in the UK. Nobody can sell their packaged gari at the price that we sell it, and that's the truth. But I'm telling you now, it's because we're very confident about what we have, because of the neatness.
Yeah.
My friends buy it, my people buy it, you know, so churches, everybody buy it. So really, but what I'm trying to establish is that how do I get away by saying he get Jebu Gari? He can get away with it. And I told him the strategy that we use. We
I think that's good.
Yeah,
yeah,
we did
yeah.
Very good.
And we put a font, our own font, Oloyo, on top of it so that it can be seen as Gary Oloyo.
Loyo,
So
yeah.
Gary is
Yeah,
still
I get
there.
you.
You understand? So it can just put like in a very small print, like then after some time to come out. At the moment it needs to get into the market. It doesn't have time to start waiting for the story of Ijebu Gary from Ijebu at some point.
Yeah, I get you. I understand. I was just trying to explain to him.
No, your explanation was perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's actually very good, better than my even knowledge in terms of what you said. So
I just come in. Actually, when we wanted to decide on the quality, the standard of the gari we wanted to produce, we went to speak to people from Ijebu, and we asked them what makes gari Ijebu. So they told us all the qualities of the different qualities of the gari Ijebu. So that was what we took back to it, and we told we put that into practice in our factory, and we were able to get that same quality. That even when we brought it in, our samples in, everybody that tasted it, they said, "Oh, this is Gari Jebu, this is Gari Jebu." They didn't know it was. So we actually
yeah, but
got
the quality you got was Ijebu quality. So, so you're not far from it. If you say it's Gari Jebu, you're not wrong.
but we want to promote Ekiti. That is the emotional attachment there.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Yes.
So my brother, that's the way around to it. You can just say inspired by Gary Jebu, inspired by Gary. I'm saying in a very small, tiny print.
Small print.
But the bold Gary.
They're not even monitoring and I'll be answering up.
So yeah, I mean that's the only advice. I mean, in this aspect, you know, the little.
Can I say something? I grew up eating yellow gari. Then we came to England. I had my son, and I said to him, "Oh," he said, "What? No, Mom, I'm not eating this. What is this white gari?" I said, "His father is Yoruba." I said, "You are Yoruba. Your grandma brought it specially for you, so you can get fat and look well like Yoruba man." That's how I got him to eat white gari. I've never tasted white gari before. So anytime he sees white gari, "Oh, my grandma brought me that gari. I must eat it because it's good for me."
Hello, can I contribute to that, please? If you don't mind.
Okay, is that Mr. Emmanuel?
Yeah, this is Mr. Emmanuel. Sorry.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
All right, sorry. This is Mr. Emmanuel. I would say thank you for organizing this. It's been mind-blowing and great experiences. We've had different people speaking. I hope you keep it up, and I pray that everyone here will support you for what you are doing. Yeah, just in answering to the gentleman from Ekiti State, I believe you are producing something and you want to sell it. From my own experience, recently I was at Ade's supermarket, that was last week, and I wanted to buy gari. Even though I bought the Ade's brand, but what made me to buy was because I saw the Ijebu gari on it. So that really, I'm from Delta State. So the Ijebu gari has been known by many people. And if you are trying to sell, that is your marketing strategy that you can use to get into the market. I hope that helps. Because this is my experience. That was actually with you.
Sorry, sir. I raised my hand too. I can attest to that. I buy gari from Ade's too. This is Lara Dada. I buy gari from Ade's and I would go for Ade's one named Ade's. But I wanted to compare it to say, when you want to buy, like I buy Golden Cellar rice to cook for my house and whatever, and there are different brands. And if you notice, they would write Golden Cellar on those brands. and but there's Setara, there's Asli. So if you go in it, like what Antiola said, if you go by that, name it whatever name you want, but put that Ijebu Gari there, you would sell, because that is what people are looking for. I want to buy Golden Stella rice. I can buy Setara, I can buy Asli. There are other brands as well, but I'm looking for that Golden Stella on it. So people will look for Ijebu Gari on it.
Yes.
Well done. Can we just appreciate the sponsors for this event? We've been talking on, and I really would encourage you if you can support the GEM, the Royal GEM. They've done a very good thing, and you know this because basically I charge for consultation normally. You know, we'll sit together, put all this together. So you've got everything free. So it would be really nice if we can, you know, donate as little as you can or as much as you can into their own Doctor, wait now, I'm trying to sell for you. So please, I beg you, it's very encouraging because she's not only just done this, she's lifted some people up. I've, you know, so one or two people reach out to me and we're going to really take them to another level in the sense that we understand the market. At the moment I'm affected by COVID, I don't want to take that thing. And because I'm not taking that thing, I don't want to go out and catch anything. So I've not been physically been able to take the product to the place called there. You understand? So, but I compiled my customers together.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
You said you don't want to take that thing. That's what is making them laugh.
Oh yeah, I'm not. So I don't even want to call it by his name because I respect them. Let them take it. But
yes, I join you.
Yes. So I'm not, you know, I literally am locked down. I mean, like lockdown, proper lockdown. I mean, I've obeyed the laws 100%, more than even obeyed the law. At one point I used to shut all my windows. Because I heard that it was airport. I don't want to be flying in here. So you know, I really manage myself. You understand? So for now, as much as we want to do all that, you understand? So what I'm saying is she's done so much to encourage many. And, you know, for those who can encourage what she's doing, you know, she's not, this is a non-for-profit organization. So if you can donate something, I went all out to go and look for sponsors for her so that she can appreciate us. I mean, they're supposed to be paying us, but we don't want money, Mr. Patricia, do we? We don't. So, but if you donate the money that we were supposed to use, you guys are supposed to pay us, and put some, even if it's the 1% of it, into their own
Rural gems.
We would really appreciate it. And God will bless you. God always bless givers. I promise you that one, 100%. So I'm encouraging you to please. So one more time, we need to appreciate World Remit. They are the best. If you want to transfer money to Nigeria or anywhere in the world, dependable, reliable World Remit. Also, I need to appreciate the engineering company and MEPO. They just called us from the news and just supported this company. Thank you.
I don't do that. Here's the information now.
Which information?
Donation.
I put it in the chat. I put the account details in the chat.
Now, put it on
the screen. Sorry. Right, okay.
It's the cooperative bank, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I sent it in the chat, but let me just pop it on the screen now. And yeah. There you go, guys. Or you can donate online, anyone, whatever suits you. So these are account details, guys. And while this is on the screen, I just want to let
I'm
you
just
know,
taking the picture.
Yeah, Okay, I just want to let you know, guys, that in the next 2 weeks, precisely on the 21st of February, the Rural Gems will be organizing a family workshop, a family session for the young people and their families. Because as I told you at the beginning, on the 6th of December, we had the young people on this platform telling us about the challenges of COVID-19 and how it had affected their studies. So we came up with some coping strategies for these young people. So on the 21st of February, we will now be doing a follow-up session, but in conjunction with their families this time around. We want to do something like a post-Valentine. We would have done it on the 14th, but because we want them to just do their own things, so we moved it to the 21st. So we might be partnering with some organizations to deliver that event on the 21st of February. So please, if you have young ones in your house, your children, your grandchildren, please let them know about this upcoming event. We will also be sending out the flyers via emails in the next few days. Also, send them the information out as emails. So yeah, so that's what we're doing in the next 2 weeks. Please bear that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Hussein, your hand is still up. We're rounding up. Do you want to? Okay. Sorry. Before you speak. One more thing I wanted to let you guys know. So we also know that in this pandemic period, our children are struggling with their homework because they said they cannot have access to their teachers when they want to ask questions, because with the online learning, once that lesson is done, they might not be able to have the one-to-one contact they would have had with the teacher in school. So the Rural Gems is planning to have something like a one-to-one homework session for these children. And this will also be delivered free of charge. So this is our own way of bridging the gap, okay, of the gap that COVID-19 has created. So one-to-one home tutoring or online tutoring for the young people, but they must be part of the program on the 21st of February. And there we will tell you more about the criteria for the eligibility criteria for the home one-to-one tutoring. Thank you. Mr. Oseni, please, over to you, finally. You can unmute yourself, Mr. Oseni.
We can round up. Thank you very much. I was just going to add to what Ola said, that everybody here should please support the initiative, the Rural Gem, because they are doing wonderful things that brings people together to get educated and to get into businesses. So we should. And secondly, we have to talk about the continuity after this. How do we continue to, to make progress? And one of the things suggested by Dr. or Engineer Ene is that we should, form, ourselves into a group that will be solid and do things practically well. So after this meeting, how do we sustain the continuity? So I think we have to look into that so that we will continue to educate ourselves and share information that will benefit every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oseni, and thank you, everyone. With regards to what Mr. Oseni said, I will throw it back to Ola and Patricia, and again, Mr. Oseni. the speakers and the rest of you, the participants, because you are the prospective importers. So what is the way forward? What would you like us to do next? We've had 2 sessions now on importation. What is the way forward? How can we come together to help the upcoming importers? Yes, Ola and Ola, Patricia, and Mr. Oseni. Yeah.
For me, I brought a lot of my clients here, by the way, and I think 1 or 2, 3 people came from my last session. So and I literally said I will hold their hands to see and make sure that they get to the place called there. As I said earlier on, I will guide them as much as I can, but I can't really do much that I would normally do, especially someone like Shewa. Shewa is, she's done quite well with what she's doing. I'd love to actually take her to the place that I understand, because she's a very, very innovative person when it comes to our food. Not only does she create something, she actually cook the food as well. So, and I'm sure about her quality as well and her taste. So that's one person. So we can't take everybody, and some majority of the people that I brought are also very experienced and expert in their own fields as well. So the ones that are the newcomers, if they can actually form a group, like maybe 10, 15, you have to be sure that they're ready. If they're ready, then yeah, because nobody's got time to waste. If they're ready to fly, then we will fly with them. I mean, you have Sister Patricia, the requirements, those if you have product that you want to put on places where everybody can see, you have the platform there. You're not looking for anything. You just have to attend the training. You have me there when it comes to marketing, when it comes to getting it out there. I'm there as well. The support that I can give to take you to the place called there is there. And you have the logistic man, if you're really an importer and you want it, and that's Mr. Seni, who would also be able to guide you in terms of what you buy and what others bought and what they're buying currently. It's really good to have a good shipper that you can have a good relationship with. They tip you, they know what's on ground, and they can tip you. You can go there and say you're going to load the container with Coke, and the person will be telling, auntie, I saw that those big people didn't buy cocoa. They only bought syrup. So, that's this sort of thing is what it's about knowing the serious people. If we can put those serious people together, then yeah, we can all work together. I mean, we have many experts in our group, agro-business experts, a lot of them. We have a lot of commissioners, people from different parts of the, Nigeria that are doing extremely well, that I can take you to the place called there as well. So we can introduce all that. I mean, I'm very generous with, information and sharing, as long as you're not trying to think that you can just take over anyhow. I will show you, Pepe. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Ola. Does any of the speakers want to respond, want to say something?
Yes. The simple addition I want to have to that is that Dr. Mary should keep the list of every participant intact, and we'll look at how we can, sustainably help ourselves and get back to them. And they can come in or not come in, depends on, whether they want to continue in the process of being an importer or an exporter. But definitely we'll find a platform that will sustain what we have, we have been doing for the last 2 sessions. And Dr. Beatrice also, or Patricia, sorry, the consultant too has to be handy and be ready to accompany the process, because it is very vital part of the whole thing. Ola too, I'm sure Ola will come into aid when we call upon her. But we are simply going to look at how to create a platform that will continue to share information, answer questions, asking questions, and perfect our processes until Nigerian products become acceptable in the world market or in the European market. It's a journey that all of us have to be firmly engaged, because we have been relegated. Our products have been relegated, and we are losing money for not promoting what is our own, and we have to do more. And
Okay.
that is the essence of the continuity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, can I just say, somebody has written in the chat that what would you regard as the minimum check-in, minimum requirement for being ready? That if you tell them the minimum requirement for being ready, then they can contact me or they check in with me, and then I will gather all the names together and send to you three so that you start working with them. Because not everybody on this platform wants to do importation, really, or is ready, so to speak. So you want people that are ready, as in ready, that you can start working with. So what are the criteria? Yeah.
The criterion is part of everything we have been saying, that first and foremost, know your market. What do you want to sell and to who? And then what standard must you meet? Once you engage with that, you need to know what is the law, the regulatory criteria in the UK for bringing XYZ. And then in Nigeria, what do you have to go through, which we can share. We can always tell you. I'm sure Ola will take you through what it is for your product to be accepted at the border or at the port in the UK, or at the point of entry. I can tell you what you need in Nigeria for your product to be able to leave the country. So being ready is a state of mind which the individual have to, conclusively determine. Being ready is that you have some money, you have some idea, and you have the market. That is when you are ready. You don't bring a product without having a buyer or without having an idea of how to sell it. Those that are being ready is consciousness of what you are doing or what you have to do to make profit and to be successful in what you are doing. That is being ready.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Patricia?
Okay, so to encourage others, because when they hear 30,000, 40,000, which is a reality, but again, I think one of the things that we did also was our third container, we had to share with a trusted person. And do you understand? So there's also, if you have that, and you can do a group buy. And another good news is that there's a company called Rousey. If you don't know them, Google them. They are actually doing something totally unique in the sense that they will do, if you have a group buy, they will do sort of like take from like three bodies or 4 people kind of group buy kind of, so you share them.
That's a break bulk.
Yeah. So it's actually very good.
Come together.
Yeah. So in that aspect, so you can use that as a market testing. You can actually say, okay, if I have 4 or 5 people, and my goal is to make sure that you actually become that importer, and also being an importer, I would be able to give an idea of what I think each person should do that will interlink as well as, you understand? So which means that, let's say I have Mary, Patricia, Ade, and Ola, the 4 of them. So I would come up with 4 products that the 4 of them can buy, but it just means that if Ola is in that shop and Mary is in that shop, the 4 of them can be supplying together without clashing with one another, because it means that one buyer can say, oh, so you have Fanta, what about Coke? And you, the other one can say, oh no, I am Supermalt is with my partner. Oh, I can bring you Supermalt tomorrow. So because you'll be sharing, it's easier. Do you understand? But it can't go for long because it's a bit complex. you know, but you can do it like 3 times together or 4 times, and then by that time you become independent and you'll be able to do each one container each. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's an idea. So nobody should fear on the fact that you know, for you to think importing, you must have some capital. You might not have enough of that capital, but you can also still import, and by willing to share with others, that's a solution that I can think of.
Okay, Sister Patricia.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Sister Ola and Mr. Ade. I just want to add that the 3 speakers you have is actually completion of a supply chain. Because you have the marketer, you have the logistics, you have the production aspect of the process. So it's like a complete supply chain you have got. When it comes to readiness, readiness is having the intentionality to do something, okay? You want to do import or export, you decide that is what you want to do, then you put the hard work that is required on it. I deal with starting from the production side and the requirement for the European standard. You also not just target UK market, you can target Europe. The good news also with the Europe market is that if your product enters one country, you can then go by road to other countries. And not only that, there is still a loophole in UK, even though we are out. There is a loophole in where Northern Ireland is concerned. If a product enters in Northern Ireland, it can go to any other parts of Europe without all the issues of charges and things like that. So you have a vast market to target, but there is preparation. Preparation, this is introductory that we have done. As I said, there are training required. If any of them wants to do training, they register with Mary, we will give her discounted prices. You know, from what we normally charge for those who are ready to go forward. So that is what I want to add. And thank you for inviting me. I didn't even know I would stay as long as this, and I have another meeting in the next 15 minutes. So
thank you.
Thank you very much and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Patricia. Thank you so much, Ola. Thank you so much, Mr. Oseni. And thank you so much to the participants. At this point, I just want to recap on the upcoming event, just reminding you, I said there is going to be something for young people coming up on the 21st of February. And that will also include their families. So if you've got young children, but this is targeting UK now, okay? So it won't be for those in Nigeria. So our UK audience on the 21st of February. So young people and their families will be on this platform. So please bear that in mind. Can I just invite Mr. Tabi, one of the board of trustees of the Rural Gems, for the closing remarks. And obviously, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but you know, there are some people, the board of trustees that work with me in this organization. They've been supporting this vision from the onset. So they work tirelessly. Anytime I call them for meetings, they are there for me. And without them, there would really be no TRG. So over to you, Mr. Tabi, one of the board of trustees.
All right. It's been almost 4 hours of discussing importation. I'm sure we've all learned a lot. And well, I would love to do a recap, but there isn't so much time. So on behalf of the BOT and our CEO, we'd like to thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing you at our other events. And we also look forward to your donations. Thank you very much and have a very good week.
Thank you, guys. Have a lovely week. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks so much.
everyone.
Thank you. God bless.
Have a good week.
And you
Have a
too.
blessed week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.